better put a chick in it. And make it fucking gay as fuck.
I am funky.
And I want it lame!
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
What?
That is so lame!
G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Casual Rage 180, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. Of course, the biggest topic of the week is once again the Acolyte and Disney Star Wars and the absolute disaster that this show is and continues to be. Episode by episode, we keep asking the question, could this get any worse? And the answer seems to always be yes. Yes, it can. It can always get worse. I was actually thinking about it last night. We've got one episode left of The Acolyte. This year for Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, has been an absolute disaster. From the very beginning of the year, from January all the way through till now, it's been non-stop controversy, non-stop people coming out of Lucasfilm talking absolute retardedness. You know, we started the year with Charmin Obeyed Shinoy, talking about how it's about time a woman shaped the Star Wars franchise. We had, then they obviously announced the Mando and Grogu movie to try and run a bit of damage control for that. And then what happened after that? There was something else that happened after that. Charmin Obeyed Shinoy hasn't shut up, though, the whole time. What did we get? The Bad Batch. And that wasn't even really that good. In fact, like, I don't think too many people that even enjoyed the first 2 seasons thought that the 3rd season was any good. It seems to be that, like, you know, it was the same thing with Mando, right? They got first season, you know, people were praising it. Not everyone. Second season, people were still praising it. And then the 3rd season, it just falls off a cliff. It's almost like the people that are creating Star Wars, not only do they not understand Star Wars, but they're not even planning out the stories, you know. But I think the biggest thing with The Bad Batch was the fact of its connection to the sequel. I still have I don't know how people can get through the first season of that and think that how can we have a female clone of a male character? It just doesn't make sense. But, you know, we're going to have our trans allegories in there, I guess. And then we got the Acolyte. But then moving forward throughout this year, what else have Star Wars fans got to look forward to? Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew, which there hasn't really been, like, there's been a bit of stuff, right, that's been talked about with that. I still actually don't even really know what the Skeleton Crew is supposed to be and how that's supposed to, even what time period it's supposed to be in or anything like that. Charles, please, for God's sake, just chill, brother. Why? Every week you see the same thing. You just stay there. It's okay. You don't need to be here. Chill. Yeah, chill. This is insane. Anyway, good kitty. Yeah, good kitty. So yeah, Skeleton Crew. Don't know what it's supposed to be. Don't know what sort of story it's supposed to tell. Don't know what time period it's supposed to be in. I know that they have talked about these things, but does it really matter? I mean, after what we're seeing with the Acolyte, I mean, who's even show running this thing? Hang on a second. Let's just have a look quickly. Skeleton Crew. What is the Skeleton Crew going to be about? Four children who end up on an adventure to make their way home after being lost in the galaxy following a discovery they make on their home planet. Okay? So they're on their home planet, but they're lost in the galaxy? Or they get lost coming back? All right, so when is it supposed to take place? Let's take a look. Does it fit in the timeline? Honestly, Charles, please. No, that doesn't answer anything. Oh, it's post Return of the Jedi. Post Return of the Jedi. Okay. That's really all we know. Like, I'm just looking through this, and that's all we know. What happens in Skeleton Crew? It basically says the same thing. Four kids lost in the galaxy, blah, blah, blah. Is Skeleton Crew a part of the Mandoverse? This show is set in the Mandoverse timeline. Created by... Oh, the Mandoverse is created by John and Dave. I was going to say. But, you know, based on what we've seen with the Acolyte and everything, it would not surprise me in the slightest if the person that they've got to run this show, create this show, isn't a Star Wars fan, doesn't understand Star Wars. I mean, Leslie Headland, I think, has made it very clear that she doesn't understand Star Wars. She's lying through her teeth when she says that she's a massive Star Wars fan. She's lying through her teeth when she cried and said that Star Wars has saved her life. All of that stuff. All of that stuff. But yeah, it just got me thinking, like, this year for Star Wars has been absolute disaster, and it's not going to get any better. And then, honestly, for 2025, what are their releases? What have they got slated for 2025? Let's just take a look at that really quickly. Star Wars 2025 releases. They look like all books, though. Okay, so in 2025, we got Andor Season 2. That's it when it comes to actual shows. That's it. They've got a lot of High Republic books and stuff that are coming out. Star Wars Jango Fett, Tales of Lost Hope. Okay. Don't know what that is. Again, I think that's just a book that they're going to be releasing. And the other thing that we had was Tales of the Empire, which wasn't received very well. That was this year. And then 2026, we're supposed to have Ahsoka Season 2 and Mandalorian Grogu movie. Interesting that all they've got slated for next year is Andor. You know, and you think about when, you know, the announcements of all the movies and everything that they've said that they're going to be doing and how long it's actually taken them to put these things together. Last time we heard with the Rey movie, they still hadn't finished a script. We keep getting told that it's just around the corner and that Daisy Ridley is about to read a script. 6 months goes by. I haven't seen anything yet. I'm about to read it. They're nearly finished. See, another 6 months goes by. It's nearly finished. About to read it. Like, this is how lost they are when it comes to actually putting together a good Star Wars story. Or what they consider to be a good Star Wars story. Because I have no doubt that they think that this Acolyte show is just really good. The fans are the ones that just misunderstand. I don't even think they think that the fans misunderstand it. I think that they think that the actual Star Wars fans are actually enjoying it and that the people that aren't enjoying it aren't actual Star Wars fans, where it is clear that it's actually the other way around. It is so very clear that it's the other way around. You know. But before we get into the main nuts and bolts of the show, let's quickly say hello to the chat and see who we've got here. We've got Tillium in the chat. How you doing, brother? Go and check out his YouTube channel. He put out a little video with Dave Filoni where he talks about how pulling stuff from the EU is rude. Great little clip that he did. Thank you. We've got Jordan Summers. How you doing? Good to see you. Love your stuff, brother. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that. We got Nuisance Bird in the chat. A lot of people going to catch the replay. Nuisance Bird being one of those. We've got Butcher in the chat. We've got Stephen Brown in the chat. Hello there. Nitrium. Let's see. What did you say here? The writing is not really worse than Kenobi either, in my opinion. Sorry, there was a message before that about the Acolyte. Okay. Remember the Leia chase scene the fire that blocks Vader. Okay, this is the thing that I will say in regards to the Acolyte in comparison to other Disney Star Wars shows. The Acolyte is the worst written show out of all of them. It's the worst planned out show, right? The construction of this show when it comes to just telling an actual story is it. I would argue that the Acolyte is the worst television of all time. Like, you take the Acolyte out of the Star Wars galaxy and it falls apart just as a show on its own. And I think I've mentioned this a couple of times in a couple of my reviews and stuff like that, is that, you know, being that it is in the Star Wars galaxy, you've got all the lore, canon, and continuity breaking issues that they do. But structurally, just as a story with plot and character and all of that sort of thing, it is bad. I would argue that Obi-Wan Kenobi on a continuity, lore, and canon issue actually does more damage than The Last Jedi. I could argue a thing for that, but it's all bad. There's no doubting that it's all bad. So it's hard to sort of place them. You know what I mean? Germ Graves is in the chat. How you doing? Let's see. Mandalorian is greater than Ahsoka, is greater than Book of Boba Fett, is greater than Wokolite, is greater than Kenobi. People are going to be mad at you. You missed Andor. God, how would I? See, for me, it's all bad that I can't, it's so hard for me to say that one is better than the other. Because the issues that I have, and there's no corrections, there's no explanations, there's nothing that actually really gives these shows any sort of semblance of either Star Wars or weight or anything. It's so hard for me. Because they've all got their own problems in their own way. And yeah, I don't think I could actually do a list like that. I'd have to really think about it. Justin's in the chat. Star Wars Marvel Purist. How you doing? Good to see you. Lara A, another one that's going to catch the replay. And Fractured Filter as well, another one that's going to catch the replay. I see you, Andrew. Good to see you. If you are here and you are new, please do consider subscribing. That would be greatly appreciated. Smash the like button. If you're here watching the replay, thank you for being here. Smash that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. We've got Darth Ghostface. How you doing, Darth Ghostface? Good to see you. Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan is in the chat. Darth Scipio. I see you. John 42. Mike Hill. Good to see you, Mike. The Operator. Hello, The Operator. Hey, Mr. Grant Gregory. How you doing, Mr. G? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Mr. Grant Gregory sent me a super thanks on one of my videos when I hit 6K, and I forgot to acknowledge that. So I just want to acknowledge that now and say thank you for that super thanks on that video. I appreciate it. Let's see. Breezy's Comics and Collectibles. Hail. Hail to you. Best West 92. How you doing? Christian. Scourge. Mr. Bantham. Soul Assassin. Just scrolling through. Sith Assassin Trailer. Stephen Brown, we acknowledge you. D Pool. Where am I? Fear of FEMA. Good to see you. Evening all. Predictions for final episode of Acolyte. I'm betting we get a cliffhanger. I'm thinking that we have to, like, they are anticipating a second season. Whether or not it actually, I've got a thing that I actually think that it has already been greenlit. Like, it's just this feeling that I get that it's actually already been greenlit and they just don't want to announce it right now because of how bad it actually is. But I really do have a feeling that they've already got a green light to do it. Now, in regards to what are my predictions, honestly, I'm so lost in this story, if you can even call it a story, that I don't know where this can go. I still have a feeling that we're going to get an "I am your mother" moment with the Zabrak witch, because we don't really see her die. And I'm actually a little confused at what happened with Kalnaka in this last episode. Was it all the witches that were doing the thing that were infiltrating him, or was it the mother witch that turned into a fart cloud and then infiltrated him? And it'll give you a lot of gas. So, like, or was it the mother that infiltrated him and then the witches had to do their thing to take him over? Like, this is the thing with the storytelling of this show, is it doesn't, when weird things like that happen, you need to give the audience some clarity in regards to what's happening. And that was another thing that I didn't like about this episode. I mean, I don't like the entire series, but the other thing that I didn't like about this episode was that things that happened were different to what we saw in episode 3. Now, you could say that that's because you're seeing it from a different POV, right? You're seeing it from this person's perspective as opposed to this person's perspective, and this person didn't notice what actually happened. But there's 2 distinct moments in this episode that I'm like, why are you keeping that from the audience? When it really doesn't matter and it doesn't make a lot of sense. The first one that I'll point out is when May starts the fire. You know, in the first flashback, they wanted to make it seem like, yeah, Osha's really bad. Sorry, May's really bad, and that she wanted to kill her sister to stop her from going with the Jedi. So she decided to burn the place down, and it was all intentional. In this episode, it's like it was a mistake. She's lit the book on fire. That's all. She said that she wanted to kill her, right? And then they make it seem like she lights the book on fire, and that's all she wants to do. But what does that do in regards to killing her sister, to stop her from going with the Jedi? She going to be so distraught that she destroyed her book, her diary, that she's going to end herself, self-delete? I don't know. Why did we go from such an extreme of, I'm going to stop you, so I'm going to kill you, to, I'm just going to light your book on fire. Oops, it was a mistake. Oops, I dropped the kerosene and all the kerosene went everywhere. And then the book burnt my finger, so I dropped the fire book onto the kerosene, and it just happened. You know, in that first episode, Osha's banging on the door and May's standing there with this look on her face. And then in this episode, that's even gone. So the perspective changed. Yes, the POV changed. But so did the like, when we see how Osha saw that, she was there. That shouldn't have changed so dramatically. And then the second one is when Sol goes to hold the bridges up, right? Now, there's a couple of issues that I have with this scene. First one is size matters not. Now, I don't know if 16 years earlier he's just a Jedi Knight or whether or not he's actually a Jedi Master at this point in time. It's not clarified whether or not he's a knight or a master. But either way, even if he is knighted, size matters not, right? Now, that's not to say that there couldn't be some sort of strain there, but yeah, okay. But also, too, why didn't he just grab the two girls and hold them up? You know, if Yoda can pull an X-Wing out of a swamp, and it seems that he does it without too much effort. It's not like Grogu when, you know, Grogu uses the Force and then he's got to have a little sleep afterwards because he exerted himself too hard. This is where I'm saying that people don't understand Star Wars. And I want to point out that Dave Filoni has a big influence on the Grogu side of the story. Why is Grogu having to have a nap after every time he uses the Force? Yoda didn't need to, and he pulled a fucking X-Wing out of a swamp. He went on to have a conversation with him, and he goes, I don't believe it. That's why you fail. But the thing is, and I pointed this out, I actually went back to episode 3 and showed people so that they understood exactly what I was saying. When May's bridge goes down, Sol is pretty much running around the corner. He's not there holding it up. And then also, too, he stops with May's one and just holds up Osha's one with his two hands until then that collapses because, again, size matters. That collapses, and then he goes and grabs Osha. That's not what happened in episode 3. But why did they change that? What POV could possibly make that scene so very different? Doesn't make any sense. Sorry, Fear of Female, I can't answer the question because it's too. They've got one episode left, and it is too hard to explain what they're going to do. And they've got so many mystery boxes open as well. So many. Let's talk about Chimera for a second. Chimera, it wasn't in this episode. I thought that maybe him and his master showed up on the planet because they, did send that message to Coruscant, and Coruscant said, no, don't interfere anymore. And they maybe came to the planet to check. And while the battle was going on with the witches and everything, something happened there. And that's why Chimera, in the Chimera and Soul fight, he's like, oh, don't you know? And he's talking about the Jedi don't attack people with a weapon. He's like, oh, really? He knows something. But are we even going to see, not that I care or not that it really matters, but are we even going to see his backstory in regards to how he got the lashes on his back? Who is his master? They're gonna clear this up in one episode and have it as a satisfying ending for the apparent story that they're trying to tell. Alex Mason, I see you. Let me just scroll down a little bit more again here. If I'm missing anyone, I do apologize. Dan Crane, I see you. How you doing? Soul Assassin, I see Jordan again. Blue-Eyed Scorpio. How you doing, dude? OG Star Wars. If you're not subscribed to OG Star Wars, she is one of the more knowledgeable people when it comes to Star Wars out there. Right up there. Right up there. Go and give her a sub. She does her calf chat streams. Go and check it out. Greetings to you. Who else have we got? I saw Andrew earlier. Bitch is completely clueless. 100%, man. 100%. Let me scroll down a little bit more here. Melissa Lord. How you doing, Melissa? Sword Wall of Dragon. Or Dragon, sorry. Have you taken your blood pressure meds before you review? Oh, man. I do feel like I need some. That's for sure. That's for sure. Like, I get home from work and I've got to sit down and do these reviews of this show. I've already explained why I'm doing it to a lot of people. If you are new here, I'm a massive Star Wars fan. If you can't notice by the Lego and, I love Star Wars. There's actually a deep connection with myself and Star Wars in my real life. Not just the fact that it's this superficial, fictional world that I'm connected to. It helped me in my life. I took lessons from the actual movies, from the characters. And it's a deep connection. So I will continue to do this until it's hard to say without sounding stupid, not enjoying while doing it anymore. At this point in time, I'm not watching it and I don't have any hope that they're going to turn the corner or they're going to make good Star Wars. That's certainly not the case. I'm here to point out what they're doing to destroy George Lucas's Star Wars. Oh, but you're just going in to watch it to hate on it. If the shoe fits, I'm sorry. If they had have come out and they promoted this show as something other than it's got strong female characters, it's designed to go against the patriarchy. Star Wars is so patriarchal. It's the gayest Star Wars and all of that kind of thing. And they actually had have promoted it as an actual show and what the actual show has, what some of the story threads are going to be, other than the fact that we're just going to see a story from the Sith's perspective. Because essentially we saw a bit of that from the Sith side in the prequels anyway. And that was real Sith. But if they had promoted it a bit differently, then maybe I wouldn't have gone into it with this mindset of this is going to be shit already, straight off the bat. Aunt Jemima's in the chat. How you doing? Captain Keeley. Sup, lads? Sup? Scotty, AU, good to see you. Still scrolling through. Trev's in the chat. Ooh. It's bad. It's so very, very bad. I see you, Blake. It's an awful show, 10 out of 10. You're giving me shit about the Bad Batch again, aren't you? All right. I'm going to just scroll down. If I missed anyone, I apologize, but thank you. I've got to acknowledge Dr. Coffin-Nails, though, always here. Duff, Ghostface, thank you so much. 10 gifted memberships. Now you've got access to your little emojis. You get to seal clap. You get to tell Disney to fuck off. All of that good shit. What you mean with the poo emoji? How you doing? Let's see. Flawed the Sean. Hello. I see Steven Salcedo in the chat. Change your name a little bit there. Makes it a bit easier. SSFGB. What else we got down here? Who else we got down here? There will be a second season just to punish Rhino, says Dr. Coffin-Nails. Charles, you were comfortable. No. No. Over here. No. Look at this cat, man. Fucking cute as fuck, but like, honestly. No. No. And he thinks that means I want to pat him. God. And see, he can't, look. It's headbutting the microphone now. Stop it. Either go up there or go down there. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? We're streaming and you're interrupting. Use your legs. God. Cats, man. At least Eric, look, he's just asleep. Just chilling. Go and mess with him. Mike Hill for $5 says the Wookiee was using a metal detector looking for the $80 million budget. Yeah. Oh man, it's so bad. As I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's a $2 million metal detector right there. Stop it. Stop it. Yellow Flash. Yes, Grace hates episode 7. Dude, we're gonna that's the one that I actually want to watch now on Flashcast. That's one that I actually want to watch. It's so funny. It's so funny, right? We get told by these people that, oh, you can't judge it. You haven't finished watching. The season's not over yet. What if they explain that? What if this? What if that, right? We can't judge it until it's completely all said and done. Well, it's funny that 6 episodes in, and Grace Randolph and a lot of others out there are talking about how good it is. How can you judge that it's good if you haven't watched the whole thing? I'd like to flip that on its script, or flip that a little bit and actually ask that question. How can you judge it and say that it's good when you haven't finished watching the whole thing? But also, too, now that we're 7 episodes in and you think that this was absolute garbage, we saw it from the word go. So are our criticisms now valid because now you agree with us? Like, I don't understand how somebody like Grace Randolph, who can flip on a dime like this, when the storytelling in episode 7 is just as bad as the storytelling from episode 1 through to episode 6, I don't understand how she can have a bigger platform as she's got, a bigger channel as she's got, with the inconsistencies. And don't the people that do watch her see the hypocrisy in it? It is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Sell your Star Wars shit. No. No. It still means something to me. Like, a couple of weeks ago, I watched Empire. I think it was last week I watched Return of the Jedi. Those movies are still... If you can isolate it and just have that, and then, you know, if you want the continuation of the story, just do your EU. Do the stuff that they decanonized. Then you've got a very rich universe that you can dive into. Great storytelling. And I'm not going to argue the fact that there's some things in the EU that aren't good, because there is. And I'm not going to even argue the fact that even some things in some of the movies aren't good. But it's consistent with Star Wars. It holds true to a lot of the laws. What the fuck is that? It actually is good Star Wars, despite some of its issues. Quinton, I see you in the chat as well. I think I'm pretty much caught up with everyone. TJ Carr, see you. Jack of all casuals. How you doing? Been a while, Jack. All right, I've just jumped right down to the bottom. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Again, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel and smash the like button, all that good stuff. Share it out. Let them know we're streaming. Let them know we're breaking down episode 7. Shit, I've just realized that in the title of the stream, I forgot to put the word episode. Episode 7. Oh, I can't change it because I'm already going. Or did that change it? I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. I can change it later. All right, let's get into some of the things that we're going to talk about before we do get into the breakdown of the episode. RIP Star Wars for his 7-month member chat. Thank you so much for the 7-month members. Appreciate it. Membership. Have you heard anything about Skeleton Crew? Well, at the very beginning of the stream, I was talking about Skeleton Crew. And this is the thing. We haven't really heard anything about Skeleton Crew. Maybe they are just waiting for Acolyte to be over, and then they'll start their promotional run for the for Skeleton Crew. But there hasn't really been a lot of talk about it, has there? I mean, no one's talking about it right now. The only topics when it comes to Star Wars that people are actually talking about right now is the Acolyte, because every day there's a rich number of articles that you could talk about. She's going on The View, she's doing this, doing that, attacking fans, all of that stuff. So it's very, very concentrated towards the Acolyte. There has been a little bit of stuff when it comes to the Rey movie, and I find that hilarious because Skeleton Crew is supposed to be coming out later this year, and the Rey movie isn't for 2 years, 3 years at this point. We did talk a little bit about Skeleton Crew, but no, to answer your question, nobody really knows anything. It's about 4 kids that get lost in the galaxy that have some mystery that they found on their home planet. And I don't know where they're lost from, and I don't know where they're trying to get to. We don't know anything about it. And the only other thing that we know is that it takes place after Return of the Jedi. That's it. No, is that real? Jude Law's character is a gay Jedi, apparently. This is the thing. I really don't listen to the rumor mill anymore. I used to listen to it so I could shit on it. I don't even do that anymore. Based on everything that I know, I just sit here and go, hey, Doomcock, did you get your emotional payoff? Because, he made that statement that law and continuity doesn't matter as long as you get your emotional payoff, which is the complete opposite to what I think. Did your Civil War bullshit rumor that you came up with come out for you? Cameron Pasha, how's that sizzle reel? I bet at this point in time, Disney wishes that the Acolyte was a sizzle reel and nothing but a sizzle reel. I know that this is the thing with people like WDW Pro and stuff like that. I don't watch their stuff because they do dabble into the mystery box. Sorry, the rumor stuff. And I just don't want. I'll wait and see. If we get an announcement or something from Star Wars. Directly from Star Wars, yeah, okay, I'll talk about it. But I'm not buying into the fact that we've got 150 YouTubers out there that apparently have sources directly at Lucasfilm. Okay. I'm all the way over here in Australia. I'm going to make a whole new YouTube channel called Dictor Van Dumb Cunt. And I'm just going to say that I've got source and start and just make up bullshit. I'm not buying into it anymore. You got Valiant Renegade out there that actually gets facts and actually gets, information in regards to, what budgets, and he's actually got the documentation there. He actually can speak on it. I'll watch stuff like that. When it comes to the rumors and everything, nah. I might see a video pop up and I'm like, no, I'm just not even going to entertain it. People want to talk about it, they can. I tell people you are my source. It's always nice to come out. We talk about the mainstream media, right? And how it's not even about being right anymore or being truthful anymore. It's just about who can get this information out there first, right? Who can get the exclusive out there first. So people will make up bullshit to be the first one out there. Take it with a planet of crate. And then if it doesn't pan out, it's like, oh, I told you to take it with a planet of crate. And if you don't understand that reference, Crate is a salt planet, remember? For any of you people out there that didn't understand. Yeah, Dictor Van Dumb Cunt. That's going to be my name. I'll put a mask on. What mask can I wear here? Hold on. This one. Here we go. I should have turned my camera off. Hello, I am Dictor Van Dumb Cunt. I'll have to change my background. I feel like it's poking me in the eye. All right. That's enough of that. No, I'm not a retard. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about what I see, what I know. I see no difference. Yeah. I've got a source. I've actually got the closest source to Kathleen Kennedy. I've actually got Kathleen Kennedy's right-hand man. Not a man, though. It's a right-hand they. Is that how you say that? Right-hand it. Something like that. And man, some of the shit that's coming out. Kathleen Kennedy said that she's not quitting and she's not going to be fired for 10 more years. She actually specifically came out and said that she wants to full on just destroy, like she likes seeing the fans cry. And she knows that we're right, but she just sits there and laughs in her little office. Like how The View laugh. Yak, 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 yak. Oh, yeah, you can't say right hand. It's got to be a left hand it. Because, you know, right and left, good, evil, Joe Trump, or Biden Trump, however you want to fucking say it. Anyway. Dictor Van Dumb Cunt. Great. All right. Let's get into some of the shit that we've got to talk about. So, I just dropped a video last night basically talking about these two things, and I just want to touch on it really quickly here. So, of course, the Nielsen ratings have finally come out for the Acolyte, and it's not good. It's not good at all. Disney Star Wars fan base plummets by 75%. Now, look, I don't know how accurate this is. I mean, I've reported in some of my videos more recently, I've talked about the Rotten Tomatoes scores and stuff like that. And I've got to admit, like, sometimes when we talk about the Rotten Tomatoes stuff, it's like you can't take this as a valid website to indicate anything. And then sometimes we use it and it's like, yeah, we're saying that this is a valid point. The reason why I've sort of used Rotten Tomatoes in some of my more recent videos is because of what I'm seeing when it comes to the fan base, when I see what I'm seeing when it comes to the YouTube videos, when I see all 70 of you that are in the chat that are basically saying that this is a disaster. Some of you are watching it, some of you aren't. Some of you are just watching the YouTube videos. You're getting your entertainment through that. And it's I don't know. It's hard to tell. And the same thing with the Nielsen ratings, right? I don't know exactly. I know, like, Ryan talks about the Nielsen ratings that come out and stuff like that. And I know he knows a lot more in depth on how this stuff actually works. I trust Ryan. But this isn't good. This isn't good. And you can't say that this is because of racism. You can't say that this is because they're all sexist, misogynistic bigots. You can't say that. I mean, they can say it. They can say it all they like. But again, it's like I said in my video, it's the same play, the exact same play from the exact same playbook every single time. Yes, Ryan Kennel. Nielsen ratings. Oh, fuck, I don't know, man. I'm retarded. You got to remember that. But even though I'm retarded, I know my shit when it comes to Star Wars. When the Captain Marvel controversy happened with the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's like we can't trust what they're doing. We can't trust what they're saying. But all of a sudden, with the low audience score for the Acolyte, we can trust what they're saying. I still don't trust what they're saying. But I will say it doesn't surprise me if the score is naturally as low as it actually is. And it is surprising that it has been stagnant at that 14%. I know it's dropped to 13 here and there. But you got to remember, as the score gets lower and everything, it takes a lot more to get it to go down by another percentage point. But that's also, too, what doesn't make sense in regards to the percentage point that drops down to 13%. That means that there needs to be a flood of positive ones to get it back to 14%. But it seems to happen very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. Dictor Van Dumb Cunt for $2. Holy shit, that's quick. That is so quick. I have a sauce, a very special sauce. Barbecue sauce. Tomato sauce. We call it tomato sauce here in Australia. I know you guys call it ketchup. But yeah, like for the scores to change even by that 1 percentage marker. Thank you, Dictor Van Dumb Cunt. Appreciate it. Yeah, for that 1 percentage point to change, but then for it to revert back to the 14, you've got to have a lot of positive ones to come in to get it to move. So this is where I start to not trust it. But it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that the fan base has dropped by 75%. And that's not to say that some of that 75% aren't still hoping that they can correct it, that they can do better. Will they? Fuck no, they're not. You know, I put out a tweet this week about, like, you know, pretty much calling out these people, Lucasfilm, and one of them being Dave Filoni, and you still got people out there that are defending him. Now, I want to make the point very clear here that Dave Filoni had the Chief Creative Officer position well before they updated the website earlier this year. It was either real late last year or early this year that they updated the website to give him that position. And everybody was talking about this promotion and how he's going to oversee it. And people are defending him by saying that, you know, he only got that promotion late this year. They'd already finished The Acolyte. They'd already finished writing it and everything. And then there was the executive, what was it? Executive creative something that happened in 2001. These two positions are one in the same thing. They're one in the same thing. And even in the article when he got promoted in 2021, sorry, I think I said 2001, 2021, it says in that article that he's had this position for a while. Now, people want to make the distinction that, no, they're not the same thing. Well, okay. To me, they just changed the title. It wasn't a new promotion. They changed the title of the original promotion and updated the website. And that doesn't change the fact. That Leslie Headland, Deborah Chow, all of these people, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Deborah Chow with Obi-Wan Kenobi, said that they went to Dave Filoni for advice, for lore, canon, continuity, you know, making sure that they got no issues there. And he signed off and ticked off on all of this stuff. It does not change that. Whether or not it is a different position or not. So I just don't understand how people can still sit there and say, and look at The Mandalorian. Season 1 of The Mandalorian. You can sit there and you can seal clap all you like if you did enjoy it. But there are so many problems and so many issues with The Mandalorian starting from season 1. Force healing, Grogu force healing being one of them. One thing that we always talk about on this channel, tracking fobs. The explanation, there is none. Hyperspace teleportation. You know, hyperspace teleportation started back in the sequels. Didn't change the fact that they didn't correct that in all the shows that they've done. You know, I've heard Ryan talk about it. I've heard Mauler talk about it. I've heard Gary talk about it. I've heard a lot of people talk about how time doesn't exist in this universe anymore. How at a snip of your fingers, they're just there. And the best example of that is when Sol, at the end of the last episode, Sol takes off with May, and, you know, the Leslie Edlund's wife, green chick, you know, they just appear. They've gone from Coruscant to the Outer Rim like that. You know, but that was the same thing with hyperspace skipping in Rise of Skywalker, Rise of Palpatine. It's the same thing with The Mandalorian when he goes from one place to another. And you know why they need to do that with The Mandalorian, especially now? Because he's in a ship that isn't really designed to be traveled in over long distances. His Razor Crest was, but even when he was in his Razor Crest, they were still doing the same thing. You know, and then there's the defense of Andor. The people out there that are still saying that Andor is probably the best thing that Disney's done. And I'd argue that it probably is. Structurally and story-wise, it's consistent with itself, but it's also consistent with Disney Star Wars. But my problems go deeper with Andor. It's the same criticisms as I've got for The Mandalorian. It's the same criticisms that I've got for Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka, The Acolyte. You know, I keep having to repeat myself because new audiences continue to come in and they're like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? How can you say that? Well, Andor, like, what business does Luthen have having Force-sensitive materials in his store on Coruscant, and the fact that Palpatine and or Vader haven't sensed that Force-sensitive material and completely raided his shop? He's got 2 fucking holocrons in his store. He's got a Sith holocron and a Jedi holocron in his store. Palpatine in Rebels wanted access to the world between worlds. You know how Ezra got access to the world between worlds? Filoni's sexual wolves that he wants to fuck so bad made those stones with the fists and the hands and the things, right, appear, and then they made them disappear. Guess where they are now? In Luthen's store. Why? So the SEALs can sit there and go, I know what that is. Oh my God, he's got them in his store. You got a Temple Guard helmet in his store. You've got Star Killer's armor in his store. You've got a Gungan shield in his store. You've got Padme's headdress in his store. Like everything just plucked from the Star Wars universe everywhere is just in his store on Coruscant. That's good Star Wars, is it? But then we've talked about the heist. We've talked about the prison break stuff. There's a lot in there that is actually bullshit and not real Star Wars. It's not good Star Wars. You've got Mon Mothma. The funny thing is everybody talks about the destruction of characters, right? You've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that does damage to the circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. Completely destroying the story between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope for those 2 characters, Vader and Obi-Wan. You want to talk about destruction of characters? I mean, in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, they did a massive amount of destruction to Bail Organa and made him such a fucking retard. But in Andor, where is Bail Organa? Supposed to be so important to the creation of the rebellion. What, did they just change him out with another straight white male in Luthen? Mon Mothma decides to sell off her daughter to cover up her embezzlement from herself of the 400,000 credits. When she took that money out to give to Luthen, Luthen gets 80 million credits and can't pay that back. 400,000 out of 80 million. Geez, you've still got a lot left. Like a lot left. Couldn't help out Mon Mothma so that she didn't have to sell off her daughter. Mon Mothma couldn't have gone through every avenue to try and cover that up before having to sell off her daughter. Go to Bail Organa and ask him for the 400,000 credits. No. So people can sit out there and say, oh, you know, it was the least watched thing in all of Disney Star Wars, but it was the best thing in all of Disney Star Wars. You can say that if you really think that. I disagree. I disagree. You know what put your beer goggles on when it came to Andor? Was the writing was at least decent. The writing of like the dialogue, I think, distracted people. You know, it was boring as well. Like it was so slow and boring. And why? I know I say this nearly every fucking week, but it's like everybody's like at me about Andor, constantly at me about Andor. Oh, Mauler liked Andor. Why don't you? Like, I don't care what Mauler likes and doesn't like. It doesn't change my perspective on it. I don't give a fuck. It's like saying, oh, Star Wars Theory liked The Mandalorian. So? Just because Star Wars Theory liked The Mandalorian, explain how tracking fobs work or justify the hyperspace teleportation or any of that stuff? No. It means that he's blinded to it, hasn't actually seen it, hasn't actually really experienced the fact that it's bullshit. Cried at Luke Skywalker, got told off by Star Wars directly from Pablo Hidalgo, was distracted by the fact that Luke Skywalker was on screen and didn't actually think to himself, oh, hang on a second, a Jedi going onto this Imperial cruiser, there's a Moff there, and he's just there to get the baby. Who cares about what's actually happening on the ship around him? Who cares about asking, is everybody okay? I mean, the first thing that a Jedi would do getting onto that ship after having to take out all of those droids would ask, is everyone okay? But no, everybody's just standing there like, it's Luke Skywalker. Stay there, Moff Gideon. It's Luke Skywalker. Fuck off. Fuck off. If you think that that's Star Wars, well, fuck. Pfft. How did I get from the Nielsen ratings to fucking all of that? Jesus. Because, like I said, it shits me. It shits me that people can sit there and say that the Acolyte, is that bad. And I see similar, things to what people praise as good Star Wars out there. You know, it's funny. Just because Mauler likes it, or Critical Drinker likes it, or anybody else out there likes it, hasn't changed my perspective on whether or not it's good or bad. I think it's still bad. And these are my reasons, because they haven't come out and said that, you know, this is why what, let's say, Rhino's saying isn't correct. They haven't counteracted my criticisms yet. But the funny thing is that you've got a lot of people out there that start saying, oh, you're destroying our enjoyment of it. Why can't you just sit back and enjoy it like we are? Why do you have to sit there and destroy my enjoyment of it? Well, look, if what I'm saying is destroying your enjoyment of it, I don't know how many times I've said this, it must mean that I've got a point. It must mean that in some way, shape, or form, in the back of your mind, you know that what I'm saying is correct and true and right. Because I betcha, if I went to Mauler, Drinker, any of those guys out there that say that Andor is really good, and asked them that whole thing about Luthen's store and all the Force-sensitive material, and how does that get justified, right? How does Palpatine and Vader not sense that and completely raid the shit out of his store? They wouldn't be able to answer it. Would that then change their mind? Maybe not. Maybe the prison break. Why aren't they just programming droids instead of having sentient beings that they need to feed? And then they go through this whole thing of a person's finished their sentence, but they don't let them go. They just move them to another part of that prison. Is this the first time ever that that's happened? We've got a similar situation that's happened like that in this show, The Acolyte. But yet that's bad and this is good. Okay. Let's get into the next thing. Fuck, I've been ranting and raving for an hour and we've only touched on the first thing. Somebody earlier in the chat, I think it was Laura, said that this stream, she feels that this stream's going to be another long one. I don't think you're wrong. Don't think you're wrong at all. Yeah, I mentioned it. I mentioned he's got a Sith and Jedi holocron in his store. In his store. Wonder how much he's selling them for. But yet Andor's good. Okay. Okay. If you believe that, feel sorry for you. I just wanted to touch on this really quickly. I just saw this before I went live. Star Wars is really trying to, like, the Star Wars Twitter account, like that. The only people that they respond to are people with pronouns in their bios and the people that rant and rave about how good Star Wars is right now. They never clap back at any of the criticisms or anything like that out there. It just says, learn more about the two hottest metals in the galaxy, Cortosis and Beskar. Why is it described this way? The two hottest metals? It's because Mando's really hot and it's because Chimere's really hot. I don't know. It seems like a really weird description to describe these two metals that are in the galaxy. You want to learn more? Well, I wonder what the references are that they use to describe Beskar and Cortosis. Do they go dabble into the EU to explain it? I'm not even going to click on it because I don't fucking care. My point is that this is damage control in my eyes. Because the way that they introduced essentially both metals, to be honest with you, more so Cortosis, is crazy. Like, they didn't even really explain it. So now that they've got to come out, you've got to do your homework so that you understand and you know. The thing is that they'll change the lore behind, let's say, Cortosis, because, again, Cortosis is it's a hard metal to mine. It's a hard element to mine. It's everything to do with Cortosis is hard to do and hard to use. But not in Disney Star Wars. You can just get a little tool, that he's using to fix his helmet. Yeah, it's stupid. I know. But it's just the way they describe it. The two hottest metals in the galaxy. No. The two hottest metals in the galaxy. Get out of it. Let's see. Yep. Even the cat agrees. I know. It's crazy. He doesn't even know what I'm saying, and he actually agrees. Insane in the membrane. All right, let's get rid of those tabs. Let's talk about these two before we get into the view shit. In fact, we're going to move all of that forward. Okay. This is why I have a feeling that maybe season 2 was already greenlit. I don't know. But take a look at this. Star Wars Holocron says, or has posted this, and said, the Acolyte creator, Leslie Headland, answers a question about whether she knows how the story from the Acolyte connects to Darth Plagueis and Palpatine. Well, this is the thing. Palpatine's not even alive during this time period. So the fact that the question was even asked like this, it should be the connection to Darth Plagueis and Darth Tenebrous. Because even Plagueis around this time period would still be quite young. I think he would have already started his training with Tenebrous. But the answer is, yes, I do. If I continue to get to tell this story, I know how I would like that to play out. Sorry, and I would say I think it's pretty. Sorry, I would say it's pretty complicated and messy. Sorry. Again, if you're new here, I got dyslexia. It fucking fucks me sometimes. Yeah, I think it's pretty complicated and messy. What an answer. I mean, like, please, Queen Kathleen Kennedy, give her a season 2. Like, this has been incredible for my channel. And, you know, the most fun part about Star Wars now is basically ripping it apart. Basically ripping it apart. But this is the thing. The Plagueis novel is apparently no longer canon, which is ridiculous when you think about it. You know, they decanonized everything from the EU. They should have kept some stuff. But see, the problem is that they keep some stuff. They keep something like Plagueis. Then they can't do the Acolyte. Because it's so contradictory. You know. But why even do it? Why even do it? So she's got a plan, apparently. But it's going to be complicated and messy. It's already complicated and messy. You've already fucked it up. Big time. Let's take a look at this one. Another one from Star Wars Holocron. The Acolyte star Amanda Stenberg on the principal message of Star Wars. I believe the Star Wars universe is really about spiritual force. What? And how different communities, including the community of monks called Jedi, relate to the spiritual force that governs the universe. Oh, wow, what a statement. Star Wars also explores how politics engage with spirituality and how spirituality can be, this is word fucking garbage, man. How spirituality can be corrupted by political styles and groups trying to enforce particular ideas of how the Force should be used. What? I mean, Amanda Stenberg said that she's a massive Star Wars fan. She dressed up for the premiere and she's the only one that did. I reckon Disney Star Wars dressed her up. I reckon Disney Star Wars dressed her up. But wow, what a statement that is. I don't even know what to say or even how to break that down. It sounds like Joe. Yeah. Man, what was that? That was word salad. It's 100% Jordan, word salad. Okay, that happened. That was a thing. That was a thing that she said. Don't worry, we're going to hear more from Amanda Stenberg soon on The View. But now I just wanted to talk about this really quickly. I did talk about it a little bit earlier. Apparently, Comic Book News gave this episode a 0 out of 10. And Grace Randolph thinks that now this is awful. People are starting, the defenders. I wonder if Comic Book News, let me just go through this really quickly. Did they do anything for... a couple of weeks before the Acolyte. Bob Iger confirms $4 billion Disney streaming loss. There you go. That was 6 hours ago. Let's go. Let's scroll through a little bit here. Oh, there's this that says cost reportedly $187.5 million to make this for the Acolytes, with rumors over more than 200 million. Where's that money gone? They were trying to metal detect that fucking money. They were trying to find it. Fuck, I got to scroll a fair bit. Okay, so that's episode 7. They gave it a 0. Let's see if we get... No, that's episode 7 still. Fuck, I got to scroll a fair bit because they post a lot. They were the ones that reported the 75% drop-off. Oh, they gave House of the Dragon a 10 out of 10 for episode 4. By the way, I've been watching House of the Dragon. I am up to episode 7 of season 1. I never watched Game of Thrones, but fuck, man. This show, in comparison to like the Acolyte, it's like chalk and cheese. It's. I'm really enjoying it. You know, really good. Come on, give me another Acolyte. The Boys, no. Come on, give me another Acolyte episode. I want to see what they gave episode 6. July 4th. Hang on, Hang on, you should have already had a post. Oh, no. We're getting close. I just want to see what they gave. They've retweeted a lot of like people's videos shitting on the Acolyte. Oh, here we go. Acolyte episode 6. They gave a 1 out of 10. There you go. Okay, so maybe comic book news is a bad example of one of those things that have sort of flip-flopped. But Grace Randolph is definitely one. House of the Dragon is better than Game of Thrones. Man, the thing is with House of the Dragon is, for somebody that really knows nothing about like the Iron Throne or like never had any context from Game of Thrones or anything like that, and just going in blind, like completely fresh. It's compelling. The story's compelling, like really interesting. The characters are really, really good. Yes, he evaded. That's right. The characters are really good. Got great indications of motivations. I really like, and I'm still getting my head around the name, so excuse me if I don't know, but I really like the King's brother. I really like him as a character. It's so interesting. And each character's got so many different like things going on that you can sort of like, you can touch on this, you can talk about, man, it's just so good. It's so enjoyable to watch. You know, when I finished recording my video last night, I decided to just sit down and watch, and I watched one episode. I got to like it was about 12:30, and I'm like, I should go to bed, but I really want to watch another episode, so I did. And like I said, I'm up to episode 7. I want to try and catch up and get like after I finish this stream, all I'll be doing is watching probably another 2 or 3 episodes of House of the Dragon. Get through that first season, get into this second season, and it's all been pretty much because of really word of mouth. I know Mozza has really been enjoying it. I haven't spoken to Mozza for a little while because we took a break from the full Aussie. But yeah, he's been really enjoying it. I know that like Ryan and Gary and Mauler, and they've been doing their streams and they've been really enjoying it. I haven't been watching the streams because, again, I thought about it and I was thinking, do I want to get into it? Do I want to get into it? And after hearing like just positiveness towards it, I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And now I'm really enjoying it. And I'm glad that I didn't actually watch their stream, so I didn't really get spoiled on anything. But yeah, great. Oh, also too, speaking of the full Aussie, for any of you full Aussie people out there, if there are any mods in the chat, if you can drop the link to the full Aussie, we will be starting back up. Now, originally, we were going to be starting back up on the 20th, which is not obviously this weekend, but next weekend. It's been pushed back by one more week, mainly because of the Acolyte for me. So we are getting back into the full Aussie on the 27th. 27th of July, we will be back. Yeah, not the 20th anymore. The 27th, the weekend after. And when we start back up, we do have a couple of, at least one announcement in regards to how we're going to continue and structure the full Aussie moving forward. But it's definitely returning on the 27th. Definitely returning on the 27th. Okay, so we talked about comic book news. We talked about Grace. I actually can't wait for Flashcast this week because I'd be really interested to watch Grace's video. See, I don't even care enough to go and watch it. I'd rather watch it with people on a panel and have a laugh and, you know, talk about it with Flash and the guys there. Let me get rid of these tabs. I just can't believe that statement from Amanda Stenberg. It was word salad. It was garbage. There you go. There's the link. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. You know what to do. I never got into Game of Thrones either. Like, even my sister was like, oh, are you watching Game of Thrones? I'm like, no. And she's like, oh, you need to watch it. And this was like, I think they were in season 5 or 6 or something back when she said that to me. And like, for me back then, it was kind of like, oh, there's too much. There's too much to catch up on. I can't be bothered. And in a way, with the way that I heard that it ended, I'm kind of glad that I didn't. And look, it's kind of like with Star Wars, right? All roads lead to the sequel trilogy. Well, with House of the Dragon, all roads, yes, they do lead to season 8 of Game of Thrones. But in a way, it's something that I'm not like as passionate about when it comes to Star Wars and stuff like that, that I could probably at least separate it, kind of like with what I do with Star Wars. So maybe I'll just watch House of the Dragon and just have House of the Dragon. It's hard though, because it makes you want more. It makes you want more. We'll see. I don't think with knowing what I know about season 8, and maybe even a bit of season 7, I heard, but more so season 8 of Game of Thrones, could I go in and watch 5 seasons of it and just leave it at that? I don't know if I could. I'm one of those people that's a completist. I need to finish it. Yeah. All right. Let's do this with the view. Again, if you haven't checked out my video, go and check it out. But we are going to go through it here anyway. So Steph put this out there. Thank you, Steph, My Nerdy Home. Again, I would never have even seen this. Oh, that's going to stop the audio. I would never have even seen this if it wasn't for her putting this out there. And my question is, why is Amanda Stenberg going on The View to talk about Star Wars? What Star Wars fan out there watches The View, for God's sake? Like, honestly, who throws a shoe? But Steph says here, victim mentality. What's funny is that Whoopi is like, her character is fictional, which she does say. It's funny. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we know. Fans are reacting to the acting, writing, and law breaking, which which is commonplace when you are watching a fucking show. Laugh my ass off. Has nothing to do with the color of her skin, which is 100% correct. 100% agree with you there, Steph. The criticism that has come for this show has had nothing to do with the color of her skin. It's had nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. And I think another thing that I've heard a lot of people say is look at House of the Dragon. You've got gay relationships. You've got a diverse cast when it comes to different colors of the skin. You've got female leads, main characters that are female. And I just see overwhelming praise for the show because of how well it's constructed, how well it's written, how well it's edited, and how good it fucking looks. Let me say that too. You know, we've been talking about the Acolyte and how, where's the $180 million? Like, you can see where the money is being spent in House of the Dragon. The dragons look good. The sets look good. The world looks good. Everything about it is actually pretty fucking good. And then this. And then you get this. Anyway, let's do this.
Feels so current now with the light and the dark that we're seeing in our country. And let me ask you this, unfortunately.
You know, the light and the dark that you're seeing in our country all across the world with the left and the right and the dark and the light. It's, you know, it's very interesting. These, and I bet you not one of these women on this panel has watched an episode of The Acolyte, let alone watch Star Wars or let alone being a Star Wars fan.
Fortunately, the success of this show has made you a target.
The success of the show.
In the right wing for the inclusive casting.
Some of the right wing. Look at the faces that they make when they're making these statements, man. It's so disingenuous. But the success of the show has made her a target. Okay. I also want to point out that she's reading off a card here, handed to her by Kathleen Kennedy herself, I reckon.
Which is something Whoopi talks about all the time.
All the time.
You have received horrific racist backlash, including threats.
Receipts.
And what you call intolerable racism. That is your quote. Can you talk about that a little bit? And what has that been like?
I want receipts because it's, again, like I said, it's the same thing that we hear over and over and over again. We heard it with Reva. What's her fucking name? Moses Ingram. We heard it with her. The racist comments, the racist this, the death threats, all of that. And then the receipts that we did get from that is like, that's what your problem was? That's what you consider to be racist, threatening messages? Wow. I'd hate to see what your reaction would be if you really got racist, threatening messages. Oh, thank you for the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate you giving me the space to speak about it.
No safe space.
It's been very painful.
You know, it's funny, you know, people talk about how we in the fan base, and especially the ones that are shitting on this show because of how bad it is, are sitting in an echo chamber, right? It's interesting that she goes onto a thing like this and she goes, thank you for the space that you've given me to talk about and gaslight everybody into the bullshit I'm about to say. I really appreciate that.
For me, It's not something that I think you can emotionally prepare for. And we welcome criticism of the show when it comes to storytelling or performance.
Bullshit. Bullshit. The majority of the criticism that has come towards the show has been exactly what you said that you listened to, or that you're willing to, have discussions about, or whatever it was that you just fucking said. They welcome the criticism. Bullshit.
But when it comes to death threats,
Receipts,
horrific,
please.
Violent, racist language,
Right,
it's unacceptable.
receipts, please. You know, Amanda, let me tell you something. By me saying that you're a dog shit actor, and that you're playing these two characters with this stoic, blank, cardboard cutout face, has nothing to do with your race. Nothing.
To me, and I've had to think really deep and hard about when you display discipline and when you display honor. And I guess what I mean by
Did you display discipline and did you display honor when you brought out your diss track? Are you displaying honor and are you displaying discipline when you're gaslighting everybody? You can see in their face too that they're full of shit. You know, you don't need to be a body language expert to see the crap that these people say and how they're basically coming up with it on the spot in their heads.
by that is when do you decide to utilize discipline to not engage in a reactive way to hatred?
So did you display discipline and not react, what did she say? Not something in a reactive way when you brought out your diss track?
To utilize discipline to not engage in a
Not engage. Did you use discipline to not engage when you brought out your diss track? Again, that is just one big gaslighting song.
reactive way to hatred? And when do you decide to engage in honor by honoring your values and your belief system? And in this case, I decided that that was the most important thing to me, to be vocal, because I think that silence can send a message as well, and inaction.
So were you silent, and did that send a message before you brought out your diss track? Or did you feel that you know your honor had to be protected, and you then brought out your diss track? Like, if she even mentions it,
Can be very dangerous.
It can be very dangerous.
And so I dropped a diss track.
That's what I heard. As one does with musical ability.
as one does.
I dropped a diss track about it. And oh, there it is.
It's so cringe, man. It's so cringe.
I love that. My goodness. And it's it's called Discourse. And it really is about, I mean, of course, what I've been experiencing, but it's also just about the divisiveness of the culture and how difficult it is for all of us now to navigate information in this new era. It's so difficult to tell what is true.
Well, you know what is true? I'll give you one big truth. Your show is dog shit and you can't act. And everybody is calling it out. You know, even the people that were now defending you and defending your show are now calling it out. So is that not true anymore? So if Grace Randolph now for episode 7 comes out with a clickbaity title, is that not real? Even though for 6 episodes she was putting out a clickbaity title in defense of your show?
You know, online, and these online algorithms, they shape our realities and our thinking. And clickbait journalism and these algorithms also profit from our rage and our hate.
Okay, So the clickbaity titles, what about all the clickbaity titles that were in defense of, again, your show? You know, Star Wars isn't the problem, you are. We all remember that Inverse article. And that's just one of a plethora of articles that were out there defending and attacking defending your show and attacking the fans. I did a video 2 weeks ago where I showed from one day to the next, you've got one, like, you know, they're saying that it's good, they're saying that it's this and that, and then they come out and they say that it's bad. And then they flip-flop all over the place. You know who knows best? You know who knows best when it comes to something like Star Wars? The fans, really. Because they've had a lifetime of flushing out the lore, flushing out the canon, understanding what it means to be in the Star Wars galaxy, in the Star Wars universe.
Hatred. And I feel like that's something we are aware of, but we don't necessarily have enough discourse or infrastructure around because it's so new.
But you don't want the discourse. You put out a diss track saying that you're so bored that you don't fuck with the discourse. You also said earlier in this entire little thing that you've been saying that you welcome criticism when it comes to the writing and the show, which is bullshit. We all know it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's also discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to you talking about ignoring. The first thing I'm going to remind everyone watching is that her character is fictional.
So let me ask you this question, Whoopi. When you did, let's say, Sister Act, is that a fictional story? Actually, let me go even further than that. When you did Ghost, is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. Was that a fictional story? Were people allowed to criticize that? Not that they necessarily did. I think Sister Act and things like that were actually, you know, accepted pretty well, because back then, you know, cinema and storytelling was actually about the escapist entertainment. It wasn't about the diverse cast and the this and the that we hear and all the buzzwords that we hear these days. But are you telling me that, like, again, you've got Star Wars, or you've got Star Trek, or you've got Doctor Who, or whatever it is these days, that has this large fan base, and this fan base has for years had information, knowledge of that universe, and they've got a deep understanding of these things, and then when they go and change that, we're not allowed to criticize it because it's a fictional universe or it's a fictional character? You're an idiot, Whoopi Goldberg. You are a moron. And guess what? Being a moron has nothing to do with you being a woman, and it also has nothing to do with the fact that you're a black woman. You're just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Right.
So the fact that you were responding to this fictional character, as though you were having dinner with her and she changed overnight for you.
I like, look at the fucking smirk on her face. I made the point in my video that, let's say the dinner thing that she's talking about and it changed overnight is the entire universe. Everything that we know, the lore, the canon, the structure of that universe, right? And that's the dinner that we've been eating. And then that changed. That's what people are complaining about, Whoopi, you fucking idiot. That's what people are talking about. We're not saying that Amanda Stenberg has changed overnight. Nobody knew Amanda Stenberg before this. But it's pretty clear how much of a racist she is. In fact, I think it's very clear how much of a racist Amanda Stenberg actually is.
Yeah.
So always remember that the people who are yelling at you often are bots.
So why are we talking about it then? Why even get Amanda Stenberg on The View to talk about the bots that are coming out and attacking her? So you telling me that it's actually not the fans, Whoopi, that are actually sending her death threats and sending racist comments to her? It's actually bots that are sending those things? They think that what they're saying is so profound and smart and intelligent. When it's one big fucking finger fest, sitting there just finger banging themselves the whole time, doing each other. Bots. What are we talking about here?
And not real.
That's true.
And don't know you.
Well, the main criticism that's coming from a lot of the fans and stuff, that is real. They are real people. You know how we know that they're real people? Because majority of them are making fucking videos for YouTube. They don't even need to put out a clickbaity title. You could literally put out a video that says, Star Wars The Acolyte Episode 7 Review. That's it. That's it. And people will click on it because they're getting more entertainment. They're getting more enjoyment out of seeing these fans out there shitting all over this shit show of a show than they are actually from watching the actual show.
Like you know you and don't know that you can kick your own behind better than anybody else can. Put them out of
She should be kicking her own butt for this.
your mind. They don't matter.
So why, if they don't matter, Whoopi, then why even get Amanda Stenberg on The View to talk about it? Why? Why? What a fucking disaster. What a disaster. And I really do feel like it's just going to ramp up, like more and more and more. Like the DEI stuff and like what they're doing with Star Wars is just from this moment, it's going to be crazy. Doom Guy D-list celebrity, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's talking about the death threats and the racist comments being mostly bots. That's my whole point. Like, why are we even talking about it then? Why are we even giving that airtime? And this is the other thing too, and I said this in my video, and I think everybody that's pretty much touched on this View interview has talked about this as well. If you are receiving death threats for your horrible acting in this horrible show, and receiving really racist comments for your horrible acting in this absolutely horrible show, and you show us receipts, we will come out in defense of that. Not in defense of, like, we agree with the racism and we agree with the death threats. I'm saying we will come out in defense of you and say that's not okay. Because it's not okay. But I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Because I'm yet to see one YouTuber with a clickbaity title that has done that. I'm yet to see any of those comments on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. I'm yet to see it. So just by you stating that that is what you're receiving, doesn't fly. Doesn't fly with me at all. Should I be excited to watch the Gladiator 2 knowing the trailer got ratioed? I have not watched the first one yet. What, Gladiator? You haven't watched the first Gladiator movie? Or you haven't watched the first trailer yet? If you haven't watched Gladiator, you need to watch the Gladiator. That's a fucking great movie. I will get to the Gladiator 2 trailer shortly. But before we do, we need to do a bit of a breakdown of the episode. I don't know. I don't think I can go through and break down the episode like beat by beat how we have been doing it. It is too painful. I think I just need to talk about some of the main issues with it, and we'll just go with that. Captain Cisco, hello. Hello there. Okay. So, once again, there is a plethora of problems with this story, with what they're doing in this story, the characters, their motivations, the things that we know from past episodes, and the reasoning behind why certain people did certain things. The biggest example that I'll give in regards to that is why Torben killed himself, drinking the poison. It's mind-blowing. Do you know what's the biggest mind-blowing thing about the whole thing, really? Is the fact that when, like, in the writing room or whatever, as they're putting this together, they thought that it made sense. They thought that it was good, I guess. Oh, no, we need to share it this way, don't we? X-Wing, if you're out there, because I saw some of your watch party, and if you're listening, X-Wing, when you go to share the screen through StreamYard, right, do not share it. Hang on, let me just bring this up. Do not go to the entire screen, because if you do that, it'll come up with a black screen like you showed. Go to where it says Chrome tab, and then select the tab, and then bring it up, and it will share it. So if you want to show it, you can. Show something, you can. Okay, so basically, the reason why the Jedi are even on this planet is because there was a vergence. You remember? You remember a vergence in the Force? I'm going to play this a lot. There was a vergence in the Force. So they're there doing agricultural stuff because of the vergence that there was. We learned that there was a hyperspace incident, no elaboration on that, that basically made it that this planet had no life on it 100 years ago or so. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's teeming with life. Everybody's talked about the metal detector. If I can even get to metal detector, there's your $2 million metal detector. And I got to say, the Wookiee costume, it looks like cosplay. It honestly looks like cosplay. And this is another great example of what I was talking about with House of the Dragon and how good that looks compared to something like this, right? So they're basically just like, it's like they're farming or something on the planet. And then it cuts and they're basically sitting around a campfire. And this is the craziest thing, is that they've been there for 7 weeks and this Padawan is just learning now what his mission is and what they're doing there. Like asking, what is a Vergence? Like 7 weeks ago when they were flying to the planet, they didn't give him like a breakdown of what we're actually doing. There was a Vergence in the Force on this planet. We need to go and figure out what it is. After 7 weeks of, you know, grabbing plants and putting them into tubes and stuff like that, he doesn't even know what he's actually doing there. And all he wants to do is go home. He's homesick. He's homesick. Now, where's he homesick from? Where did the Jedi take him from? Now, you could say, okay, maybe he was too young when he got taken from his original home planet and taken to Coruscant to train as a Jedi. So his home is basically Coruscant, and that's what he's missing. He's missing Coruscant. But you're a Jedi. You're training to be a Jedi. Like, don't you want to be out there doing stuff? Obi-Wan Kenobi hated being stuck on Coruscant, learning Jedi texts and stuff like this when all his friends were out in the galaxy on adventures and doing things. Now, I'm going to make a point that there are different sections of the Jedi that have different, like, abilities, but also have different, like, you know, there might be an agricultural part of the Jedi. There might be this, there might be that, in different sections, right? So sending them out, but they're looking for a Vergence in the Force with metal detectors, mind you. Picking up moss and stuffing it in their bags. There's a moment in this where apparently, man, I've got to see if I can find it actually. Let me... 100 years ago, this planet was catalogued as lifeless. Oh, I got it. Okay, I got it here. Okay, here we go. Man, it's so dumb. Like, none of the Jedi in this are actually acting like Jedi as well. You know, they're emotional. They're like, it's crazy actually to think. But check this out. So Trinity has just explained to her Padawan that 100 years ago, this planet was dead of life. And it was because of a hyperspace disaster. And then this is the next line.
Because of a hyperspace disaster. Yet this planet, Brendok, is thriving.
Okay, so she says, this planet, Brendok, is thriving. So it's thriving now. And it's all because they sense divergence in the Force. So that's why they're there. It's thriving with life. 100 years ago, it was a dead planet because of a hyperspace disaster. Watch the Padawan's reaction.
So there's some plants here. Big deal.
Calm yourself, Padawan.
So there's some plants here. Big deal. And her reaction is, calm yourself, Padawan. Now, I could understand that line coming if he was to get up and say, oh, so there's some plants here. Big fucking deal. But that is her reaction to him going, oh, so there's some plants here. Big deal. Calm yourself, Padawan.
Do not center around your anxieties.
The dialogue is so dumb. It's so dumb. Anyway, Sol goes on to talk about
location.
The virgins
could create life.
Virgins could create life. So what, the witches came here, it was a dead planet, and they created the twins, which then also created all this life around them? I don't know. I don't know. When did they sense the virgins in the Force? We don't even know if there's a connection between this virgins that they're looking for and the twins. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. It's mind-boggling. So they're still searching. They're still like grabbing plants and stuff. These two continue to have conversations, whether or not they be heated or not, but they definitely have a lot of heated conversations. And, you know, this is why I've got a Padawan and you don't. And then they sort of split up. So Sol goes off, and this is when we see him see the twins for the first time, and then follows them creepily along and everything. There's a lot of this episode that we have seen before. He then follows them all the way back to the base. Now, again, I want to point out that when they arrive to this planet, they don't have sensors on their ship that can sense life, sense villages, buildings, power generators. You saw the size of the power generator in this in episode 3. You know, just from a simple X-Wing, I want to show you something. I want to show you something. Give me a second here, guys. Star Wars. Where's Empire Strikes Back? Empire Strikes Back. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Give me a sec. I'm just finding it. Here we go. So this is Luke in Empire Strikes Back in a simple X-Wing. Not a Jedi shuttle or anything that could carry, you know, more than one passenger or one pilot. Well, let's just take a listen to what Luke actually says here.
Yep, that's it. Dagobah.
Just pause for a sec so we don't get hit.
No, I'm not going to change my mind about this. I'm not picking up any cities or technology. Massive life form readings, though.
I'm not picking up any cities or technology. Massive life form readings, though. You don't think that when they arrived to that planet, you know, they didn't do scans for a city or technology? They've got technology, and they've got a city that's powered by a massive power generator. And they didn't even think to do a scan when they got there, on top of not even telling the Padawan what they're even fucking doing there for 7 weeks. Honestly, guys, this show makes your brain hurt. It really does. Because these are all things that you notice as you're watching it. Yeah, the power of a script. Everybody's read it. So Sol basically, let me bring it up. Sol basically goes to the building, right, where he saw them, climbs the wall again, sees the training session, walks away. That was the bang that we heard. The only mystery box that got answered. So he saw all of that happen. He spies on them a little bit more and sees them, hovering over the hole. And then he basically reports back.
Let alone train them.
Oh, the Night Witches thing. So Night Witches don't have younglings and doesn't train them.
They do not treat the girls like children.
Well, it seemed like everything that you saw, they are treating them like children. They're doing school for how to use the thread. And, the mum came out and said, what are you kids doing out here? You shouldn't be out here. Come back. Like, everything that you saw, Sol, was them being treated like children. So what the fuck are you talking about?
The girls are in danger.
How do you know that? Better look at those moons or whatever.
I know you would defer to the council, but I insist.
He insists. So you don't defer to the council. Let's go straight there. Now, this is how ridiculous it is. Again, we're talking about the Star Wars universe. We're talking about the Star Wars galaxy. Go to the ship, do a recording, send that to the council, and then go, if that's what you really want to do. That's what you really, really want to do. So they go and they break in. They slice the door, which doesn't take them too long. Trinity says, I'm going to go in alone because they'll take it as a threat if we don't. Why aren't they just knocking on the fucking door? Why are they breaking in? They've only just come across these people. Sol already broke in to get some intel. Walk up there, knock on the door. It's a little bit kinder, isn't it? A little bit nicer than just rolling up and breaking into these people's homes. This is the thing. They try and make the Jedi look bad because that's what the story's supposed to be, right? The Jedi are bad. But the thing is to get to a point where the Jedi are bad, and the witches are bad too, by the way, everybody's got to make stupid fucking decisions. Everybody. So Indara wants to go in alone. They're like, no, we're going to go in with you, back up. And then we see this scene again. And then it cuts to what was happening to Torben, right? And it was basically just him wanting to go home again. Like she's getting inside his head and she's like, ask me to go home. Ask me to send you home. Ask me to send you home. And all he says is, I want to go back to Coruscant. And then she's like, kneel. And he kneels. And that's when we see him with his black eyes in that episode 3 bit, kneels to the ground like that. And that's because she was inside his head, basically taunting him about going back home. And this doesn't even get addressed again. Like, she was saying, I can give you what you want. I can send you home. It's so dumb, man. It's so dumb. And then he feels like he's been ass raped, all sad and shit. Still doesn't get to go home. Poor little thing.
I feel a connection to Osha.
Yeah, he feels a sexual connection to Osha. Soon you'll see the shippers out there that'll be shipping Osha and Sol. What will they call that ship? Oshol. Oshol. It's too bad it couldn't work out between Oshamir.
So, testing the twins is not something we can take seriously. Osha's too old to join.
We can't take it seriously. They're too old. Like, it was a good idea, though, for Sol to request testing them even though it wasn't really Sol that requested it at the thing, it was actually her. She's like, you can't deny it's the Jedi's right to test the kids with your permission, of course. So that they can buy some time.
So strange.
They marked her sister with dark magic.
How do you know it's dark magic? How do you know that they marked her sister with dark magic? Couldn't just be a ritual for this other group of monks? How do you know all of this information is my question. When you've only just spent, what, a couple of minutes there? It's black girl magic. So again, have an emotional conversation. Torben's then meditating when they arrive. It's so funny. I mentioned this. He's about to take May's blood test, so we get to see May's test now. And at least he told May, like, May's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "It's nothing. It won't hurt you. It's just we got to take a blood test." And at least he told her. Whereas with Osha, when she comes in, he just goes, and she's like, "Ow." So May, they test May, and we see her and how she's how she basically just every time. Now, I've got another thing with this. Okay, so she is force sensitive, right? Because every time something comes up, she knows that something's come up. So there's a gonk droid on the screen.
A planet.
And she says a planet, right? The image.
A necklace.
The image.
Okay, hang on. I need to go back.
A ship.
There's a Wampa on there, and she says a spaceship. Another image.
A castle.
A castle. Wrong. Another image.
A planet.
Planet. Wrong.
A necklace.
And then she says a necklace. And Sol says the image hasn't even come up yet. She's an idiot because she knows, based on how this is portrayed, she knows the image has come up and then she gives her answer, right? She's so dumb that she hasn't even waited to sense what the image is and she just throws an answer out there. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand how stupid that is? She's just had 3 images pop up in a row. Mind you, there's a beep beep sound as well every time a new image is generated. So not only does she have an audio cue, but she's also force sensitive to the point where she can sense the image and she's intentionally getting it wrong. But then she says a necklace when the image hasn't even been created yet. She hasn't got the audio cue and she hasn't felt the image generate in the screen. Do you get what I'm saying here? Do you understand, chat, how dumb that fucking is? So she fails. She explains what the ascension ceremony is and how the 2 twins are supposed to lead the coven. And she's like, how are you kids supposed to lead the coven? She's like, I don't know. And then she talks about some sort of sacrifice. And then she just wants to go home. She then mentions to that basically Trinity and Sol have another discussion about how he wants to try something different with Osha. You know, which again is really dumb. Oh, this was another thing that was really stupid, right? So after he has the conversation with Osha and tells her, you know, you should just be honest. And, you know, Osha does pass her test from what we saw in the other one before. They then proceed with the testing. One image comes up of a planet.
I want to be a Jedi.
We still don't know why she wants to be a Jedi.
Then you must have the courage to tell the truth.
You must have the courage to tell the truth.
We should continue the test.
So it hurts. It really fucking hurts. So then they decide to continue the test. Oh, he's looking at her really creepily. I gotta say, it does come across as creepy. The way that fucking Sol talks about Osha and his connection to Osha and how, like, it's creepy, man. Okay, so you remember when they tested May, you had an image come up, she got it wrong. Immediately, another image comes up, she gets it wrong. Another image comes up, she gets it wrong. And then the other image doesn't appear before she gives her answer. Remember that. So you hear that chime, that beep beep. She closes her eyes.
A planet.
Okay. She got it right. It's a planet. Okay, so from there, what's the next point of the test? Another image comes up, correct?
Correct.
That's literally... It's too much. It's too much crap. I just can't. So anyway, Trinity sends a message to Coruscant about what they've done, what's happened. Again, they have another little bit of a heated debate.
About those women. You saw what they were capable of.
You can feel the twins are not safe.
They say that we have interfered too much already.
Yeah, so they get a message back from the council saying that they've interfered too much already. And then Torben asked this.
Will they let us come home at least?
Will they let us come home at least? No. So he's still stuck there, unfortunately.
Let me talk to the council.
They need to find the Vergence in the Force. They need to figure out what that is.
They've already made their decision, Sol.
Oh, man, I'm going to get fucked over on this fucking breakdown, aren't I? Because there's just so much. So then basically their metachlorian count is really high. Now, I want to make a point in regards to this that I don't think I've seen anybody else make this point yet. Just because you've got a high metachlorian count doesn't mean they're very force sensitive. In his own words.
Very force sensitive.
Very force sensitive. No, having metachlorians gives you the potential to use the force. It doesn't mean that you are very force sensitive. Again, another great thing that came out of the Plagueis book in regards to the explanation of that. He's like, very high M count, like huge, means they're very force sensitive. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But the other thing too that you've got to remember is that Sol saw May stop that little bird thing at the tree. He also saw May stop her mother's attack when he was spying on them while they were training. He already knows that they're force sensitive. But the M count doesn't mean that they 100% are force sensitive. That means they've got the potential to be 100%. But that's not even the thing.
Wait. Their symbionts are the same.
They are
Now, they made up a whole new thing. Their symbionts are the same.
twins.
No, exactly the same. Even identical twins would have different symbionts.
Even identical twins would have different symbionts. Do you want to explain that, Leslie? Do you want to explain that? So, they've now found their Vergence in the Force. Guess what, Torben? That means you get to go home. You just need to email that back to Coruscant, and they'll be like, all right, good, we found it. We're either going to send reinforcements to help you deal with this Vergence, or come back home and we'll send more Jedi, or whatever. I don't know.
This is impossible without some kind of manipulation.
The twins were artificially created?
The dialogue is like feeding the audience the revelations. It's so bad, man. So fucking bad. So what does Torben do? Well, that's his ticket home. So he gets on a speeder bike and he's like, I'm going to go and steal the kids.
Girls are the proof. This is our ticket home.
The girls are the proof. No, their blood that you've tested is the proof. It's our ticket home. I just want to go home. Then we get this scene again, which we've already seen. The Zabrak mother tells May to get angry. So then she goes and burns the thing. But again, we see it from, I mentioned it earlier in the stream. It's like they couldn't trust the audience with the real information, even though the POV doesn't make any difference in this case. But she accidentally burns her finger after burning the book, and that's what then creates the fire. They get the ship.
Again. Come with me.
No violence.
I told you we cannot use violence.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have, maybe you shouldn't be preparing for war against these 4 Jedi. They scale the wall because they've apparently been locked out because May destroyed the controls from the inside. Controls on the outside are still there. Doesn't really make much sense to me, but okay.
Where did they come from?
So he asks, where did the kids come from? And that triggers this.
How were they created?
You will have will destroy every Jedi in the galaxy.
See, to me, that sounds like a threat. To me, it sounds like now you're threatening all the Jedi in the galaxy. Wouldn't you say? A bit of provoke, a bit of, what is it? Provoking them? I've got no word. And then May comes running out. He thinks for some reason that it's Osha. I think that they did this so that they could justify why he couldn't sense that it was May on the ship, right, in the previous episode. Because their symbionts are the same. So they feel, in the Force, they feel like they're exactly the same person. Okay, that could justify that. But I said this in my review as well. It does not justify him not sensing the danger when she's creeping up behind him with a blade in her hand on the ship. Because when Smilo came floating down after Kalnaka got killed, he was the one that turned around first. He was the one that sensed that there was danger there. So even though they might feel one in the same through the Force, and he thinks that May right now is Osha, it does not justify him not sensing danger right behind him, just as she's about to kill him. She's right there. She is right there. So after the threat that they've thrown out there, they've got bows and arrows at them. They're preparing for war against these Jedi and saying that something's going to happen that's going to destroy all the Jedi. This then starts to happen. May starts to disappear just like that black smoke. And Sol's instant reaction. You've seen it. You've seen it. He just stabs her and she dies. With the lightsaber. I can't keep playing too much. I'm already, I reckon I'm going to get fucked over for this. Now, I know that there are people out there that are asking, why didn't she just re-apparate somewhere else, side by side or further back or whatever the case may be? Maybe, just maybe, like she hadn't finished disapparating and that meant that putting the lightsaber in just... it stopped it from happening and she wasn't able to move. I don't know. None of that's really explained. But again, you could throw in a little bit of headcanon there and justify it, as much as I don't like that or like doing that. But he kills her. He kills her. Stab the witch fart. That's right. That's exactly right. May then screams, oh, and she says that I was going to let Osha go with you. And I've heard a few people out there say this. Why not lead with that statement? Oh, this is not before we get a children trans allegory of why kids are allowed to make their own decisions. Sorry, there's a bit that I missed in here where the witches are having a discussion about letting Osha go, and the witches are like, you're our leader. And she's like, yes, but I'm also their mother. And in this case, I feel like being a mother, not a witch or not your leader, which is stupid. But also, too, there is the allegory of allowing these children to make their own decisions. And the immediate thing that I couldn't help but think is like, okay, so this is a trans kids allegory, allowing them to chop off their dicks and fucking slice off their tits and stuff like this. Because they made the choice. Okay. This series is very rich of that kind of shit. There's a lot of that in there where you can't help, because of what's going on in the real world today and because this is so connected to the real world today, you can't help but put those connections in, especially when you've got Leslie Headland and the kind of person that she is. What do you mean by that, Ryan? Do you mean that's because she's a woman? No, I mean because she's a lesbian activist that knows nothing about anything and she's dumb as dog shit. And it plainly comes out in her interviews and every time she opens her mouth, and she's a chronic liar. Because people like that are chronic liars. So she says that she was going to let Osha go. May's bawling her eyes out. And then, I can't even remember, she runs away. Just as Osha is now climbing through the hole, the other witch goes into like combat with Sol, and again, he doesn't even pull out his lightsaber. He's just doing the whole stepping back thing, you know, dodging, hand-to-hand combat. And then she disapparates and infiltrates the Wookiee. Now, again, I don't know. Again, it's not explained what happens, whether or not it's the entire coven of witches that are doing this meditation thing to control the Wookiee, or whether or not it's the disapparated mum that is controlling the Wookiee. But at the end of the day, you've got to think that it's them. Maybe the mum just, like, she got scared and she ran away, right? So she's probably still alive somewhere. But all these witches are the ones that are controlling the Wookiee, because when the Wookiee goes down and you get to this scene here, right? They all drop dead. Now, I couldn't help but laugh in this scene because it's just so ridiculously funny. But before we get there, I want to talk about the fight between Kalnaka and the Padawan and Sol. He dominates. The Wookiee's much stronger, he's much taller, he's much bigger, he's more powerful. Not once do they try and use the Force to hold him in place or stop him or anything like that. They go straight into lightsaber combat. And there are so many opportunities where the Wookiee wins, where the Wookiee kills them both. So many opportunities. That's where this lightsaber fight is just so dumb, right? Because if the witches had taken them over and they do think that these are some kind of massive threat or something, look, the fire's even, I didn't even notice this, but the fire's even made it all the way out here already. Anyway, yeah. There was a moment where the Wookiee's like strangling Sol, and in my reaction, if you've watched my review, I'm sitting there going, snap his neck. What are the witches waiting for? They've got him. Like, that's all he has to do. He is so much stronger than Sol when it comes to physical strength that there's nothing that Sol could do that would be able to stop him from snapping his neck. Why grab him and throw him? Why? You've got him in the lightsaber bind, right? Why grab him by the arms where his lightsaber is and throw him? Why not grab his arms, lift his lightsaber and stab him? Huh? Oh, because he survives. We've read the script. Oh, I get it. I get that now. Force pushes them. That's the only force I think we get to see. Right? Very strong. Snap his face. Crush his face in your hand. What are we doing here? Now, I didn't even see the bit that got him across the eye because it's already there. People are saying that it happens in this moment. No. I want to also point out, look at the size of this hilt. It's like a fleshlight. The size of that fucking thing. It's like a fleshlight. I think I might need to unshare and share because I unplugged my headphones. So yeah, he's just stopping him there. Sol comes over and tries to grab his arm. It's so dumb, man. It's so dumb. This is where he throws him away, even though he had multiple times to be able to kill him, so the witches would have won. We get this scene. Oh, look cool. Disarms the lightsaber. Why grab him and throw him? Why? Why are we doing this? And wouldn't that throw, like, really hurt? Grabbed him by the throat. Snap his neck, snap his neck, snap his neck, snap his neck. How many times can I say snap his neck in the time that it would take him to fucking snap his neck? What, these witches don't want to kill the Jedi? Oh, I'm confused now. Still got him. Still got him. Snap his fucking neck. Oh, and then Andara comes out of nowhere. And then she does the Force thing to his head and all the witches die. Because she's what? Stronger than a Wookiee? I'm so fucking confused. And this is so fucking dumb. I don't get it. Because also, too, earlier on, when she drops the Wookiee off at the place, and mind you, I want to point out, fire. When she drops the Wookiee off at the place, she says that there's nowhere for her to land, right? So she'll just have to drop him off. Are you ready? So fuck, she must have... Where did she land? She landed somewhere in perfect time, perfectly timed for her to come in and save the day. Why ask why? Because I want to know why. When they don't have an answer. I know it's a rhetorical thing. Oh, man. Then we get this scene, like I said, that doesn't make any sense based on what we saw before. He's trying to hold both sides up. Why not either just grab both the girls? But again, in episode 3, as the first bridge is falling, he's like literally running around the corner. I showed that in my review. And then he saves her. They then discuss basically telling the truth from a certain point of view, I guess, and basically saying that May started a fire and it killed everyone. And that's basically it, isn't it? Again, they have a heated discussion. I want to show you this, actually, because this is how Jedi act, isn't it?
Dream as well.
Watch this. This is a Jedi Master. He's either a Jedi Master or at least a Jedi Knight.
To make a choice.
Master! Master!
And that's the end of the episode. And I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing. In fact, I know there's stuff I'm missing. I just can't think of it because there's so much stupid that you can't. It's hard. It's hard for your brain to comprehend what you're watching. It's hard for your brain to comprehend what, like, the sense of any of it. What the fuck did Torben do that would make him want to kill himself? Not only that would make him want to kill himself, that would make him want to go into a 10-year vow of silence coma after being knighted or mastered, like became a master. I don't know. I don't even know. He was so homesick that he was going to go and steal the kids, and then when fucking Sol finally catches up to him to stop him, then it's like they flip sides. Like Sol's like, "Oh, you need to help me get the kids now." I have it. I have it. Hold on a second. I need to do something. I am Dictor Van Domkant, and this series was made by Kathleen Kennedy's faction. Kathleen Kennedy's side of the Star Wars universe. This is her doing. This has nothing to do with Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, or anybody doing any good stuff over there at Lucasfilm. I am Dictor Van Dumcunt, coming to you from the Dumcunt factory in Dumcuntville, Dumcunt. Little message there for you. Dictor Van Dumkamp for $2 says, how can Torben become a master with so much regret? How could he become knighted? It's a great question. You're thinking too logically, Dictor Van Dumkamp. Thinking way too logically. Anyway, that's the episode. We've got one episode left. No one can predict actually what's going to happen. Nobody even really knows because there's nothing there to latch onto. I really just feel like this last episode is going to be Osha essentially becoming May, and because she figured out, like, you know, at the end of the last episode, Osha puts the helmet on, which is going to show her the flashback of what we just saw. And May, I don't know, somehow gets an explanation from Sol that justifies what he does, that makes May okay with it, maybe. And Osha's now going to want to kill Sol, and May is going to want to defend him and stop Osha. I don't know. It's so dumb you can't even figure out a possible ending for this. So fucking hard. Hayden 75. How you doing, dude? Good to see ya. For $10, says 6 years to go from Padawan to Knight to Master, then 10 years in a bubble. What a compelling character. Yeah. Well, see, again, Hayden, time doesn't exist in Disney's Star Wars universe. Not only with travel time, but with like how characters progress in time. It doesn't exist. So for him to go in a 6-year period from Padawan to Knight to Master, I mean, we all know that it's fucking bad and that it's horrible and that it's stupid, doesn't make sense, and it's not Star Wars. But to them, it doesn't matter. Snap your fingers, make it happen. It's all good. Thank you, Hayden, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Hayden's probably the one that gets me the most drunk on Flashcast. With his big monster super chats. Send me a monster super chat. No, I'm fucking only staring. All right, let's do Seal of the Week. And then we'll watch the Gladiator 2 trailer. And we've got a bit of Grizzy to catch up on. We do need to we need to do that. We need to do that. Let me just go. Let me have a look at Grizzy's channel really quickly. What do we got? We've got. Man, just thinking about that again, just really quickly. The 10 years in a bubble thing. It's so stupid. The more you think about what we saw in this last episode and what happens with Torben, it is so stupid. So stupid. This is the thing, though, is you could say that you could say that same final statement, what a compelling character, with all the characters in this show. Like, none of them are compelling at all. So we've got... Oh, so we're... Okay. So we've got episode 6 with Grizzy to watch. He hasn't dropped his episode 7 one yet. And obviously... So next week, we probably do episode 7. And then we probably won't yet have episode 8 either. So the week after, we'll do Grizzy on episode 8. So we'll watch the... Let's do Seal of the Week. Let's get the nominees out there. And then we'll watch the Gladiator trailer, and I'll give you my thoughts on that. And then we'll go into Grizzy's episode 6. The Shills react to episode 6. Mudcrab for $2 says, stop smoking, save money, buy more Lego. No. I do need to stop smoking, though. I do need to stop smoking. Dude, yeah, I was fucking stirring. You did. It's a $50 fucking super chat. Dude, Hayden, 75 for $50. Dude, thank you. I really appreciate that, but I was only stirring. For keeping me entertained on this last leg of my 9.5 hour drive to work. You got to drive to work 9.5 hours? Fuck, crazy cunt. 30 minutes left, then unpacking before drinks, then bed. Nice. Dude, thank you. Rock on. I appreciate that. You're a legend. Fucking legend. It's very rare that I get $50 super chats on the channel. So like seeing that, it's thanks. Very nice of you. Very generous. And I'm glad I can entertain you on your drive to work. I hope you got to see Dick DeVan Dumb Cunt. We brought him out of the closet today. Yep. Brought him out of the closet. That sounds really fucking bad. All right, let's do this. Now, before we do actually, hold on a second. Because once again, I have way too many seals. You saw it? Good. And I appreciate it. No, man. I'm a little bit like, thank you. Like, truly, thank you. It's always nice when you get a bit of that appreciation. I got to admit, it is really nice to see that. All right, let's chow the rest of that smoke down. All right. I've got to give you guys a choice here. Am I going to be able to read that? It's fucking too small. It's so funny with this. Oh, no, wrong fucking click. So I want Jacob, but like you can't read that. I can read that. It's really small, but then when I blow it up, I can't read it. It's really weird. Anyway, I'm gonna leave Jacob in. And I'll just get really close and read that. But let me see which ones we're gonna pick. We're gonna leave that one. That one we might get rid of that one. We're definitely keeping that one. Oh. Okay, actually, I might have already picked the 4. All right, I'm just going to show you the 2 that I'm going to get rid of because I've picked them. I've already picked them. But I'm going to show you the 2 that we're getting rid of just so that you see like how stupid some of these people really are. I should make it a bit bigger actually here. Okay, so people, do we have pronouns? Yep, he, him, of course. People who claim to dislike the Acolyte sure do talk an awful lot about a show they claim to dislike. Ironic. Yeah, because we like Star Wars. That's the thing. And this isn't Star Wars, and they're labeling it Star Wars, so we're going to watch it. And then, yeah, we're going to tell you what we really think. So we really don't like it. And then there was this one. Do we have pronouns in the bio? No, not for this person. But I have no doubt that they're a pronoun person. How do you identify? Saying, praying that the Acolyte episode, this current one, isn't a whole Brendok flashback episode, and we get more of Kymir and Oshamir, because that's what I desperately need. Well, I'm guessing you didn't like this episode then, because it was an entire flashback. Anyway, we're getting rid of those 2. And away we go. All right, so the first nominee, I did blow it up. Look how small it gets when I actually click on it. So we're going to leave it like this. Is from Jacob. Jacob gets our first nominee. Now, the reason why it's a screenshot, and obviously, Michael, thanks for sending that to me, is because I've been now blocked by Jacob. Seal clap emojis. Members, get your seal clap emojis in there. So, Jacob says, never would have guessed that that music during the end credits for a Star Wars project would work, but honestly, I really love it in last night's episode of The Acolyte. Felt like it really brought the episode to a perfect close. Has been on repeat since last night. What a little bitch. Fake wife. J.I. Jacob. So yeah, that's nominee number one. Jacob loved the music. I didn't play I actually, when I got to the end of the episode, because I just stopped and I didn't even realize until I went on Twitter and people are playing this music and I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. But I did hear that everyone was being claimed on it, so I'm glad I didn't go through that and put that in. But yeah, if you haven't heard it, you can find it on Twitter, and it's really, really, really bad. That's nominee number one. Nominee number two is from Brody1 Kenobi saying, wow, that might have been my favorite episode, episode 7. It's kind of crazy how when you let the story play out and watch more episodes, things make more sense. It's so funny that it's like one of the only ones that thinks that what played out in this episode actually made it make more sense. And come to a clearer conclusion. Is that typical with mysteries? Is that typical with mysteries? Yeah, but they haven't even really, they haven't set up the mystery properly. And the answers that we got to the mystery don't make sense. I don't know what happens in your brain to make you think that this is actually making sense or making sense of what we've seen. It's crazy. But there's nominee number 2, Brody1 Kenobi. And then we're surely pronouns. Yep. He, him. I would happily be seduced by the dark side if it looked at me like this. I don't know about you. What a fag. And then the last one is no pronouns in bio, but you guess that they probably would ask, what do you identify as? This episode, this is what Oshamir is doing during episode 7. These people are weirdos. Weirdos. There's your 4th nominee. Let me get the poll in the chat. I want to see your seal clapping emojis, members. Seal of the week. Fucking shippers, man. All right, poll is up. So, 1, Jacob. 2, Brody1 Kenobi. 3, Cam, being a shipper. And 4, Doom, I don't know, being a shipper. Get your votes in, ladies and gentlemen. Get your votes in. All right. Now, I've watched the Gladiator 2 trailer. I'm with a lot of people when they say that this is something that nobody's asked for. They don't need to make a Gladiator 2. Gladiator, the original Gladiator, is a great movie just in isolation and perfect the way it is. Right? I do agree that just because you put a black person in the movie Doesn't mean you've got to put rap music over it. It does come across as a little racist. It actually kind of does. But they could do the trailer to me, just in isolation as the trailer and what we saw in the trailer, to me didn't look that horrible. It's not that bad, but it's just a story I don't think we needed. E. Clay Thomason comes through with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, E. Clay. We can actually now get a few more people with their seal clapping emojis when we go back to Seal of the Week. Anyway, let's watch this trailer. Thank you, E. Clay Thomason. Appreciate it. Oh, fuck you.
I remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
I don't understand why they needed to sort of recast this. Like, couldn't they just use the footage and then put that, like, I don't know, change the color a bit to make it look like it's in the past? Take it from the previous movie.
That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
So somehow he's no longer, the emperor or anything, or no longer the heir to this empire, and has become a gladiator. Maybe it's by choice. I don't know. Yeah, narrative's fucked. Certainly is.
Were you born? I don't know.
By the way, guys, I do have merch. There is the narrative's fucked merchandise, right? Narrative's fucked. Me with the wig on. There is also the Do You Want to Fight with Charles choking me. And that was something from a while back when Ezra Miller did his whole You Want to Fight thing. And we were talking about it on stream. And Charles was sitting here and I grabbed him by the throat and said, do you want to fight? He didn't even react. I didn't grab him hard or anything like that. It was literally just me putting my hands around his neck like this and saying, do you want to fight? And then we made an image of him doing it back to me, asking me if I want to fight. So you can check those out if you want. Link is in the description. Here we go.
I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
So Denzel plays the Proximo. I think that was his name. Character, I guess. That kind of
Did
character.
you hear that crowd? The greatest temple Rome ever built.
Now, I got to say, it looks good. I mean, it probably even looks a little bit better than what the original one was. But you got to remember, it's 20 years old now, something like that. Yeah.
The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
General Acacius, there are victories yet still to come.
I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know who. Well, obviously, nobody, I think, knows who these people are, who these characters are. I don't know.
Yet still to come.
I just look. The thing that I like about this trailer is the way that it actually looks. It looks like they spent the money and they looks better than the Acolyte. Let's say that. It's whether or not the story's any good. You got to remember, with the original Gladiator and that story that was told and the way it was done, fantastic. You know, we always talk about how the sequel never really tops the original. You know, there's so many examples of the sequel not really doing as good or being as compelling or being as entertaining as the original. And this is one of those ones where Gladiator was so good that I really wish they just didn't do this. And again, we talk about how all they seem to be able to do right now is take things from the past that are really beloved and really good and everything, and then make it new for modern audiences, you know. T2, true, and Road Warrior, true. But it is very, very rare that you get a sequel that tops the original.
Many subjects. She must feed them.
They can eat war.
T2 is overrated. Whore. Them some fighting words. I think T2 is not overrated at all. I mean, I like the original Terminator, like Terminator 1, but I actually do think that Terminator 2 is better. Aliens, yep.
The arena turns slaves into gladiators, the gladiators into free men.
You have something in you. I knew it from the start.
Did you now?
Rage. And rage is your gift.
Oh, a bit of nostalgia there for you.
This is about survival! Come on!
Looks good.
Hold together and when it charges, break for the wall.
Whose head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
Too much.
The general will do.
Rome must fall. I need only give it a push.
This is the thing, though. Like, the way that Gladiator ended with all the slaves being freed and, Maximus giving Rome back to the people. Like, what happened after that? You know what I mean? Like, what actually happened after that? And what it seems to me that this is replaying the same story. It's almost like, Force Awakens with A New Hope. It's just a redo in a different setting, you could say.
All right.
That's what it kind of feels like.
On the mausoleum floor. Bloodstains the Colosseum doors.
This ring.
The music,
belonged
though.
to Maximus. Now I give it to you. What is the dream of Rome? That people are not free.
Gonna wear Maximus armor.
I was owned. Now I will control an empire.
What? Why is again? I know everyone's talked about it. The music doesn't suit this trailer, And are we going to have music like this? Like, is the score going to be like this?
I will not waste another generation of young men for their vanity.
Strength among us! This our Rome treats its heroes!
Hands on the mausoleum floor. Bloodstains the Colosseum doors.
The gods of
I kind of feel like it's just going to be a lot of action and not a lot of substance. Because that's what the trailer shows that. That's what I'm getting from that trailer. Anyway, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Reprising her role, yep. So it's not bad. But again, why is the sun in the Colosseum and she's still up on the... I don't know. We got a thumbs down from Ghostface. Stupid as fuck. I'm tired of Pedro. Yeah, Pedro Pascal. Me too. Makes no sense. Could be okay. Better than Bad Batch, 10 out of 10. Yeah, we talked about that, Grace. And I have no doubt that we'll talk more about it on Flashcast this week. I agree. The trailer looks okay. I'll need to know more about the story. I'm the same. Music is dumb. I agree. This is something nobody asked for, but it could turn out all right. I'm a little bit like that too. Could be like that too. Oh, someone's getting hungry. Oh, no, maybe not. Just looking out the window. All right, let's watch Grizzy's video, shall we? Let's watch Grizzy's video. Before we do, Darth Ghostface for $10 says Ridley Scott hasn't made a good movie since the 2000s. This movie is guaranteed to be trash, just like those two Alien prequels. I mean, that's true. He directed. He needs to retire. That's true. There is some truth in that. Definitely, Ghostface. Yeah. Let me just have a look for a second. What is Ridley Scott? Ridley Scott movies. The Last Duel, never seen it. Napoleon, I'd never watched that. Legend, never saw that. G.I. Jane, it's an okay movie. Robin Hood, the one with Russell Crowe. Did the original Alien, obviously. Alien Covenant, yeah, it's pretty bad. Black Hawk Down, that's a decent movie. Blade Runner, that's like, yeah, the older stuff is definitely good. Oh, was it him that did The Martian? Obviously, Gladiator, American Gangster. Didn't he do Crimson Tide? Why isn't that showing up here? You go to his IMDb. I thought he did Crimson Tide. Am I wrong? No, that's his brother, Tony Scott. Oh, okay. Yeah, it definitely does seem like his older stuff and his newer stuff is just falling off a cliff. That's for sure. I did like The Martian. It's a decent movie. Oh, he did Thelma and Louise, did he? There you go. Maybe he should retire. Maybe after this movie he will. Tony has better movies than Ridley. Let's have a look. Tony Scott. Movies. Oh, Days of Thunder. Deja Vu. Man on Fire. Fuck, what a great movie. Crimson Tide. Great movie. Enemy of the State. Great movie. Spy Game. I've seen that, but I can't remember it. Why can't I remember it? That's Brad Pitt, right? The Last Boy Scout. Top Gun. Yeah, man, he's done so much better. Beverly Hills Cop 2. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Another great movie. But he's done a lot of movies with Denzel. Unstoppable. The A-Team. Did he do the A-Team? Top Gun Maverick, obviously. Yeah, okay. I actually think Tony Scott has done better movies. There you go. True Romance. There you go. Yep. Tony Scott's better. All right, let's keep going. let's get through Grizzy's video here. If you're not subscribed to Grizzy, you know what to do. Click on the link and give him a sub. All right. Here we go. Episode 6. This isn't the week just gone's episode. This is the week before. The Shippers episode. Here we go. I haven't seen it. I didn't even really, honestly, I actually didn't even know that there was a new Alien movie coming out. It's not looking good. Not much is these days, Hayden. Not much is these days. I'll check that out, Grant. Okay, you tagged it under the Casual Rage post. We'll check it out at the end of the stream. All right. Here we go. Grizzy, Disney Star Wars shills react to The Acolyte Episode 6. A little bit.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. Stings, doesn't it?
It's a good opener, Grizzy. Hey, as good as Grizzy's been, like, from pretty much the word go, he continues to get better and improve, which is always a good thing. Like, you know, in this YouTube game, you learn things, you get better at things. That was a really good opener. Not that he hasn't had good openers before.
Ugly, but so precious.
Oh, no shit.
They're like little ball sacks.
You want me to drag my sack across your face?
My whole team is dead.
Oh, the messages aren't getting through. Is it because of May, or was something else already done to this ship?
No, it's just that Leslie Headland needed to creatively write some sort of obstacle preventing Sol from warning the Republic and the Jedi about the Sith. And the best she could come up with is that the ship just randomly lost power and communication for some reason.
Brilliant, brilliant!
And these paid Disney shills like Star Wars cross-dressing Sexplained, they defend Leslie Headland and her shitty writing.
So still no living Jedi in this era outside of Sol has heard the word Sith.
So did Leslie Headland and Dave Filoni tell you to say that?
100%.
All right, now I'm sure most of you are probably expecting these people to simp all over Kymir in this episode.
At least Kymir took his shirt off this episode.
Damn Lord. But what you might not be expecting is that most of the people doing so are not women.
See a butt cheek, come on. Commit. If you want a butt cheek.
Do it. I think she's getting some cheeks.
Show us your dark side.
Honestly, he's really hot.
Be muscly, hot,
Oh
and in
my
shape.
God.
Jesus Christ.
And these
Oh
are
my
the same people
God.
that come after you and I when we criticize Disney Star Wars and say, well, what are you making such a big deal for? Star Wars is for kids.
Yeah.
Honestly, could you imagine if they went full frontal on this?
Why don't you have a seat right over there, please?
Now, obviously, they'll deny it, but if you listen to what these people say and read between the lines, you can tell that they want your children to see this shit.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have full frontal and behind nudity. First time ever.
Holy Sith. And then walk into the water so you get wet and muscly and hot and in shape.
Is this the sexiest Star Wars show?
Oh, she just screamed. Yep.
And also the most thirsty thing I've ever seen in Star Wars.
I know, man. I'm like watching 50 Shades of Star Wars.
Hey, where's his little Grogu thing to hide his boner?
Jesus Christ in heaven, can we just move on, please?
Anger, fear, loss, desire. He is so horny.
Yeah. This is so intimate.
Yeah.
Why is this kind of hot?
Hey, Lois, if I was going to kill myself, do I slit my wrists this way or this way?
Why aren't you a Jedi, Osha?
Because I failed!
Ooh!
Whoa, do it.
Do what? You want him to kill it?
Just me.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for you to come out of the closet.
That's for damn sure.
Why was that so hot though? The two of them, like that conversation and their stance and stuff.
Sounds like you have mental problems.
Oh God, look at all the aliens. Look at the cell cat. Yes, he's back.
Calm the fuck down.
Identify yourself. My name is...
Oh,
that's a big boy, isn't he?
Kurtosis.
He said the word.
He said the word.
There you go. There you go.
This is how low these people's standards are.
God.
You're a freak.
Bill face. Bill face. Chill face. They know she's dead. Why are they reacting like this? Just because they see Jackie's body? Well, were they expecting her to come back to life because lightsabers don't do anything and everybody else survives them, so she's just a weak little piece of shit? Like, why?
His sole aim was to leave no survivors.
Secret badass, let's go. What the hell?
Whoa! There's the whip!
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
That was cool. That was cool.
No.
Wow, okay, that was pretty cool.
I have a question about that, though. Is like, weren't those bugs nocturnal? Like, they sleep around the tree during the day and they come out at night and then they're attracted to light? Again, it was just... It was one of Leslie Edlund's little things. Oh, we need a little bit of energy in this scene because my wife can't act.
No.
Oh, yeah. She definitely. You should have used the goat sound with that one, Grizzy. She always makes that goat sound. Wow.
Yeah, John Roca, the outlaw, right?
It looks like he loves this, doesn't he?
Yeehaw. Hey, Cody, why don't you come over here and be my little horsey?
Now, this last clip, you guys, might be one of the stupidest things I have ever heard one of these people say, maybe ever.
The official entrance of the stranger in episode 5 created a perfect storm of thirst tweets and respect for his fighting skills so that the online hate seems to have at last finally been countered.
It's so funny. Like she's trying to read her own notes there, or maybe these were notes that were actually delivered to her by Lucasfilm, but you can see that she's trying to read what she's written there or what is there word for word. Like, watch that again. She better make sure she gets it right.
Created a perfect storm of thirst tweets and respect for his fighting skills.
So
that the online hate seems to have at last finally been countered.
Well, Grace, I have something here that you have yet to counter, and that is every single one of your Acolyte reviews getting massively ratioed.
Yes, they have.
You are one pathetic loser.
So that the online hate seems to have at last finally been countered.
All you got?
Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out some of the other...
Good on you, Grizzy. Good stuff. The Thirst. And yes, every single one of her Acolyte review videos has been ratioed. I actually wonder. I'm not going to watch it because we're going to probably watch it on Flashcast, like I said. But Grace Randolph. Let's see her episode 7. She opens with this. I just heard the first 2 words.
Aw, man!
That's all I heard. Let's see. 66,000 views.
Aw, man! That was embarrassing.
Shut up, Grace. Oh, it's our first positive ratio. First one for episode 7 because she didn't like it. There you have it. Yes, great job, Grizzy. Yes, 100%. All right, let's wrap up Seal of the Week and let's get the fuck out of here. Where am I? Let me share my screen. Let's see who takes this week's title. All right. We've got 44 votes. Good poll this week, guys. Well done. All right, here we go. I'm ending the poll now. Boom. All right, in last place with 18% of the vote was Jacob. Unfortunately, Jacob, your love of the song at the end didn't quite cut it this week. In second last place or third place, actually it's a tie for, let's just say second place, is number 2 and number 4 with 22% of the vote. So we get one of the shippers and Brody One Kenobi in there. Thinking that this episode answered shit and waiting for the story to play out actually made it make more sense. I think not. And the winner of this week's Seal of the Week with 36% of the vote was this him saying, I would happily be seduced by the dark side if it looked at me like this. I don't know about you. Fucking shippers, man. There you have it. This week's Seal of the Week. Cam, you weirdo, queerdo, dumb fucking retardo. Congratulations, you win this week's Seal of the Week. I want to see steel clap emojis in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, the Jedi.
That's it. Seal clap. Woo! Well done, Cam. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think maybe you're right. Shippers are worse than furries. But fuck, they're both pretty bad. But shippers, definitely in the Star Wars stuff, shippers are definitely way worse. We've got seal clap emojis everywhere. Awesome show, Rhino. Thank you, Grant. Let me check out what Grant has posted for us. All right, we're going to play this on the way out. Thank you, everyone, for being here. You guys are all awesome. And I hope you're still enjoying me completely destroying and shitting all over Disney Star Wars because it's shit and it deserves everything that it's getting. Please do smash the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. We've got episode 8, the final episode. And then hopefully then we'll start moving on to some Stargate. I'm going to start doing those reviews. And I've got to keep the ball rolling in regards to the content on the channel. And we are going to do more than just Star Wars moving forward. So, like I said, subscribe, like, share, all of that good stuff. Thank you to all the members. Thank you to all the super chatters. I really appreciate all the support that you do give me. It is honestly an honor. And thank you so much. To all the people that come in and rewatch the stream, the repeat watchers, or the replay watchers, I should say. Thank you, guys. I see all your comments in the chat, in the comment section every week, and I really do appreciate you guys as well. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Get ready for the final episode of The Acolyte, and we will see you next week. Let me... Fuck, I just had it. Where'd it go? Grant's been making us a song nearly every week, if not every week. And we'll play this on the way out. Yes, I'm nearly finished, and then I can get you some food. All right, guys, take care. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week for the final episode breakdown. I will also see, just quickly before I do go, I will also try and get maybe a guest or two on so that we can have a full-on discussion about the entire season. That'd be nice. So we'll see how we go with that, but I'm sure you'll all be here, and thank you again. All right, let's do this. Bring this up, and I am out of here. Bye, everyone.
Oh my god, what a show so dumb. Raging Rhino is now queer, let's see what it's become. Episode 7, the Acolyte's still a mess. Disney Star Wars, causing endless stress. Flashbacks here, characters unclear. How will they wrap this up with just one episode near? Back on Brannock, 16 years gone. Metal detectors in hand, what's going on? Wookiees look fake, cosplay at best. 7 weeks on this planet, failing the test. No orbital scans, no tech to find. What are they doing? Are they losing their mind? Searching for virgins with metal detectors. Emotional Jedi, no sense, just deflectors. Character motives flip and they flop. Disney Star Wars, it's gotta stop. Opening scenes, all recycled and stale. Character consistency, it's a total fail. Knocking on doors, climbing up walls. Motivation shifting, logic falls. Why so emotional? Supposed to be wise. Jedi Masters acting like they're in disguise. Sith twins created, a Force DNA. Emotions high, logic tossed away. Why steal kids just to go home? This plotline feels like a bad syndrome. Back to the council, lying once more. Jedi logic out the door. Searching for virgins with metal detectors. Emotional Jedi, no sense, just deflectors. Character motives flip and they flop. Disney Star Wars, it's gotta stop. Witches die in a laughable scene. Soul stabs, motivations lean. Osha's knocked out, yet up and around. Character actions don't astound. Episode 3, perspectives all wrong. Disney Star Wars can't last long.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like Dustin Crop's kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bounce into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
It'll be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking very caution.
You... Go away!
We bounced too near a supermarket?